888-747-3733.
Headlines are brought to you by Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. The Heat defeated the Cavs 140-138 in overtime on a last-second Andrew Wiggins alley-oop. The two play again tomorrow at 7:30. The Eagles held on to defeat the Packers 10-7. Next game Thursday, 8:15 between the Jets and the Patriots. The Giants, though, they fired their head coach Brian Daboll yesterday following a 2-8 start. Hurricanes basketball team routed Stetson 102-61. They'll face 10th-ranked Florida Sunday, 8:30 in Jacksonville, Florida. And the Florida Panthers completed their West Coast swing, defeating the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2. They return home to play the Washington Capitals Thursday at 7. On to weather, sponsored by Chill Zone AC. Featuring reliable, rude AC systems. Make your AC great again. Visit chillzoneac.com. It's chilly here in South Florida. Temperature is going to rise up to the mid to high 70s today. I am Dan Day, and it's time now for the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Have you ever met a girl that you tried to date, but a year to make love, she wanted you to wait? Let me tell you a story of my from the U.S. nation. The way that I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair and a short miniskirt. I just got on stage dripping, pouring with sweat. I was walking through the crowd, and guess who I met?
Everybody's in motion. Gets it right at the rim. It's all over. The catch and throwdown for Andrew Wiggins, who's getting mobbed by his entire squad. This one belongs to the Heat.
Thank the Lord, the good too.
How's that for a game winner last night as we welcome you in here on WQAM? Boy, big night for all of our teams last night. Joe is on his way, or I think just arriving in Spain here this morning. So I am Hollywood. I have others with me here this morning. And look at that. I'm staring at some beautiful faces here. Omar Kelly is with us. Alex Donno is with us. Dan Day is with us. And together, this B team will bring you the sorry, Omar. I do that only to piss off Omar. It'll bring you the sounds and from last night. We had the Queens clean sweep last night, boys. We had the Canes hoops beat Stetson. That's where I was last night. We had the Panthers winning late night last night. I was fortunately I was asleep when that one ended.
Same. It was a nice score to wake up to, though.
Yeah, and driving back here in this Heat thing, I'm very impressive win for the Heat over the Cavs. Boy, the Heat guys, the sample size seems big enough. They seem like they might be the real deal here. So very impressive stuff last night. Omar, good morning. Donno, good morning. How are you gentlemen doing here?
I'm excellent. I'm getting ready to go to Madrid. And I know Donno is a world traveler, so any tips, I'll take them.
I'm going to be in Europe in a month and a half. I'm going back. So I won't be in Spain, though. I'm going to Austria, and I'm going back to Italy.
Man, you're so impressive in terms of all the traveling you do.
Yeah, my next trip is to Orlando, boys. I'm not I'm not a world traveler. I don't even have a passport.
Well, no, you are. If you go to Epcot, you can go to like 10 countries in one day.
That's true. That's what I told my wife when we went to Vegas. We saw the Eiffel Tower there. I said, what do you need to go to Paris for? It's right here. You know, everything you need is right here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, good morning, gentlemen. A lot of stuff to get to here. Donno, of course, you see by his background, if you're watching us this morning on YouTube, he's our Canes expert here. Omar is our Dolphins expert. I am an expert on nothing, and I will be firing off some stuff here to you gentlemen here. And Omar, boy, the Dolphins are toying with our emotions once again. And I didn't even know, like yesterday was a tough show for me because I work with a guy who is obviously he just wants to win every game the Dolphins play. There is no, let's go for the draft pick. There's no nothing. It's just let's win. And I'm so torn on what to think with this team because you go out and you beat up on the Bills like that, but yet they've had so many games this season where it's just a dramatic letdown. What do we do here, Omar? The problem becomes like I think they have to draft a quarterback in the first round. That's what I would do at least. And the more you win, the less of a pick you get. So where do we come out on this whole thing right now?
I don't necessarily agree with you in terms of them having to draft a quarterback in the first round. Tua is going to be here this year. Next year. He's guaranteed $54 million. I don't think anybody's going to take that contract off your hands. And Tua is not a bad quarterback. But the panic that we have is based on our 20 years of dysfunction and not ever having a quarterback compete. So if you take a quarterback, cool, sure. To me, I was a chairman of the Tank for Tua campaign back in 2019. And I've learned my lesson from that. Just like winning is a culture, losing is also a culture. If you want to foster losing, okay, cool. That's not just a 1-year thing. It can be embedded into your system. And I think that's part of the problem that this Dolphins organization has. Losing has been part of the culture. Now, tie it into University of Miami, most of us felt like once this team started struggling, they were going to have another letdown. That had just been the culture of the University of Miami. Once those things are there, it's so hard for you to get it out.
But I disagree with you on that culture thing with Miami because like I think there's such a big difference now. And bring Donno in on this. There's such a big difference now between professional and college football, right? College football,
what difference?
And college sports in general. You don't have anywhere near the same team that you had a year ago, right? I mean, look at the basketball team the game last night.
Oh, isn't it incredible, Hollywood, how different they are?
They don't have one player that came back.
Yeah.
So I think in college football, the college game, the turnover, there's just so much turnover.
That turnover can be good or it can be bad because
but it doesn't the wrong chemistry. It doesn't explain why Miami, no matter who the coach is, and I guess it's maybe the same thing for the Dolphins. Like maybe you're right on this one, Omar. But it's like with the Hurricanes, Donno, it hasn't mattered who the coach is, hasn't mattered who the players are. They still find ways to lose these mid-season ACC games against teams they should beat.
Yeah, and you know what is really annoying about it? Just if I can go on a little bit of a rant here, I'll keep it as brief as
long
possible.
Rant if you'd like. However,
I mean, like in the case of Miami, and obviously the team has had their issues, right? You haven't had a full fourth quarter offensive performance. I would love to see it at any point. The defense has been really good for the Canes. The offense has been, inconsistent at times, and they've lost, a couple of games. They were favored to win both of those games. But losing these conference games, so like I'm looking at the Duke Blue Devils under our old friend Manny Diaz, who have an absolute train wreck of a non-conference resume. They just lost to UConn. They lost to Tulane earlier this year. They got blown out by Illinois. Like their non-conference schedule is a dumpster fire, but they've only lost one ACC game. So somehow 4-loss Duke is in a better position to make the ACC championship game than Miami. And then I'm hearing something, and Omar, I don't know if you heard this. So the head coach of Pittsburgh, the college team, the Pitt Panthers, Pat Narduzzi, who's been around forever, and I respect Pat. He said something so surprising yesterday. So the Pittsburgh Panthers are about to face Notre Dame this weekend, which is a huge game. It's a big opportunity for Pitt to go out and get, a win. I mean, Miami's win over Notre Dame, according to the committee, doesn't count for anything because it was week 1. If they played again, Notre Dame would win by 40. But if Pitt can beat Notre Dame, that's a huge win. And Pat Narduzzi, coach of Pitt, was asked, is this a must-win game for you, coach? And, you can answer that a number of different ways. His answer was, it's not. We can lose this game 110-3, and it doesn't matter. We just need to win the next 2 ACC games after that. For a football coach to say that, that we can lose this game by 100, and it doesn't matter because it's not a conference game, that's the message you want to send to your players and to your fans? That was some soft nonsense. But to go back to Hollywood's original question, there's been something, whatever you call it, the DNA, but it goes long before Mario Cristobal. It goes long before any of the players in that building of the Miami Hurricanes winning some games, making the fans think the Canes are back only to lose games you shouldn't. It's something, Mario Cristobal's trying to get out of that DNA, but he hasn't succeeded at that yet.
I do think it's a very flawed system, though, you have in college football right now, right? And, you get the highest ranked conference, well, not the highest rank, you get the conference champion, right? That gets in, and you'll get some at-large teams. The problem for Miami that they're facing right now is you're going to get a group of 5 team that's going to jump in the playoff in front of them. I don't know that enough things are going to happen for the Hurricanes. And Donno, I don't know where you come out on this one. I'm guessing you side with Miami here. Omar, I'll let you get your jump into college football here, but Notre Dame is ranked ahead of Miami right now. Notre Dame is going to make the playoff. They're not going to lose the rest of the way. The question is, should they be ranked ahead of Miami? And Donno, I know this is probably not going to go over very well, but I can see why Notre Dame is ranked ahead of the Hurricanes, right? They have 2 quality losses, if you want to call it that. And they were very early. They were in the first weeks of the season. Miami's losses are not particularly quality losses, right? I mean, Louisville is okay. They just lost again. SMU was coming off a 13-12, loss against Wake Forest. So those were not like the greatest losses for Miami right there smack dab and almost towards the end of the season now as we're in November. So I think you have to put more weight on the losses that come later in the season, unfortunately. And, go back to what Narduzzi was saying, Miami would have lost to, let's say they would have lost to Notre Dame, Florida, and South Florida. Get all your losing out of your system early. They'd be sitting pretty right now if they had won those 2 conference games.
Well, the thing about the Notre Dame resume is that I could tell you get caught up a little bit in the hype machine. And so, okay, a part of it for the committee that we cannot change is the committee is always going to view current form, and they're going to weigh that. Like, they're not computers. They're not going to say, this is the resume. We don't care when the wins and losses happen. Like, they obviously don't look at it that way. They see Notre Dame has been trending up, and Miami's trend is like a roller coaster. It's been ups and downs, right? But if you actually look at the resume, like, you bring up Notre Dame's losses. Here's the thing. How come the wins don't matter as much, if not more? Because, Notre Dame's 2 losses, the losses look great. They lost to Miami, who was top 10 at the time. They lost to Texas A&M, who was, I think, top 5 at the time that Notre Dame lost to them. But Notre Dame only has 1 ranked win. 1 ranked win against 20th ranked USC, who's not that good of a football team. Miami actually has 3 ranked wins. 3 teams at the time they played them were ranked. And the strength of schedule, Notre Dame has a slight edge, but it's not a big edge. Miami's strength of record is actually better based on their wins, because Notre Dame's, the best part of Notre Dame's resume are the losses. Oh, they only lost to 3 by Miami. They only lost to 3 against Texas A&M. Now, you could also say Notre Dame's wins against a lot of the bad teams that they faced, and they faced at various times this season the worst team in the SEC, the worst team in the ACC, Boston College, I think the worst team in the Big 12 as well. And they're putting up big points. They're putting up more style points. But if you actually go by the wins, Miami's got better wins than Notre Dame, including a win over Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's got better losses. They both have 7-2 records. So if the committee wants to give a slight edge to Notre Dame because of like the style points, then they're obviously going to do that. That's the way the committee functions. But to have 8 spots separating those 2 teams when one has the head-to-head, it's criminal to me. Like, it should not be that much of a separation, and it shows a clear bias to the Notre Dame brand, which is the committee doesn't want to say the quiet part out loud, right? They're built for TV ratings. I mean, 2 years ago, they kept out a Florida State team who earned it. They went 13-0. They won their conference, but the committee kept them out because their quarterback broke his leg. So it's like, we don't want to put that product on TV. Like, they never say that out loud, but it's obvious they want Notre Dame to be on
ratings
TV.
And money, Donno.
It's about making the money.
Football. But you know what solves the problem that you have if you're a University of Miami fan or University of Miami player or coach? Take care of your damn business.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Take care of your damn business. You don't lose to SMU. You'd be sitting right there in a pretty position, but you did.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can't argue with that. They should not have lost that SMU game. I mean, 12 penalties, complete ineptitude at times on offense. Yeah, no, they had no
interception right when
I don't understand with the University of Miami, Donno, and we were trying to figure this out a pregame, trying to figure it out on the show. Why is it that they look so good the first few months of the season, and none of this stuff crept in, right? The turnovers, Carson Beck was managing games, and heck, even in some of the games, he was playing really well. And, you weren't turning the ball over. You weren't committing the penalties. And all of a sudden, it's like when conference play starts, something happens.
It's very easy to explain. It's very easy to explain because
fantastic. I'm glad you're here then, Omar. Go ahead.
You deal with it in the NFL. When teams have film on you, they can create a better game plan.
Yeah,
and now there's film on Carson Beck. Now there's film.
Carson Beck's been playing college football for 9 years.
Like not in this offense. Not in this offense. What you don't want,
but that doesn't explain to me the penalties and the turnovers. That doesn't explain that. All right, if you want to tell me teams are game planning turnovers,
it doesn't.
If you want to tell me the teams are game planning better, that's fine. I can live with that. But it doesn't explain the fact that you're playing sloppy football all of a sudden.
Maybe because you feel like you got to cheat a little, or maybe you were cheating a little and they weren't calling it earlier in the game because you know what? Sometimes the referees look the other way because they need University of Miami to be a powerhouse. But if you lose the game in fourth quarter situations like you have, you are only shooting yourself in the foot. So to me, that the big thing is the book is out on Carson Beck. Teams know how to play him. Teams know how to beat him. The book is out on University of Miami's star receiver. They know he's going to catch a screen and take it big yardage. They game plan for it. They strategize for it.
Yeah, but he still does. And Malachi Tony's not getting stopped by anyone. But I just don't know that
he was bracketed like they were bracketing Tony in this last game against Syracuse. They obviously found other ways to get him involved. He's throwing touchdown passes and stuff. But I think Omar definitely hit part of it because the thing is like when we're looking at a team that's been pretty simple, to the point where we're going to try to win our physical battles. We're not going to beat you by turning to page 50 of our playbook. We're going to be pretty much on page 1 of the playbook. We're going to try to beat you up. And then I do think the margins thin out once teams have film and they prepare for you. I think that's one of the big things. And I think another one of the things is why actually I really liked the way that they played against Syracuse, and Syracuse is a bad team. So I hope that they can do this and that they show more variety against everyone else that they play against, because I think when your style in the case of Miami is time of possession and we're going to shorten the game, like shortening the game to me when you're going up against teams that are less talented than you, if your game plan is to give them fewer possessions but also give yourselves fewer possessions, you're wasting opportunities to score more points against inferior opposition. You're making the games closer than they should be. I think that's another part of it as well as to why, come late October, November, why the margins get so thin for Miami.
I mean, it's an interesting theory, Omar. I just, my counter to that would be that the Hurricanes have a film room as well. And so like
maybe they're not that
counter, and Miami has the best coaches money can buy over there, right? I mean, they've spent a lot of money on coaches and, preparation, all this good stuff. And again, like I just, it seems like it's the same story every year with these conference games. They just seem to be a hurdle that the Canes can't get over.
Here's the thing about this is the one thing I will credit Mike McDaniel. You could always expect him to attack an opponent's weakness. The offense changes. I know everybody thinks screen passes are just what they do, and it is what they do. They've only got 2 offensive weapons. So yes, they're throwing a lot of screen passes. But they strategize to attack an opponent's weaknesses. Does the University of Miami do that? Do you think they do that, or do you think they just try to play to their strengths?
I think Miami does what they want to do, and that's
They try to play to their strengths, I believe. I mean, it's a simplification, but I think it's more true than it is untrue.
We love Mario for his coaching, for his recruiting component and salesmanship. How good is he as an X and O coach, a strategist? Those are things that coaches have to improve on, and Mario clearly has to improve on that.
Well, I know he tries, like that. He really tries to adapt, and I've definitely seen like the approach for him and his staff shift to a lot more analytics. And like, listen, analytics aren't perfect either. You know, when it's like, hey, when you're in a 4th and 1, oh, the book says 75% of the time you like, I think intuition also has to play a part in it, but they're very much more analytic based than they used to be. Like the whole thing about, you know, obviously everyone will remember not taking the knee against Georgia Tech. I don't think we're ever going to see that happen again. Like I think that specific scenario they learned from, but yeah, there are other scenarios that come up that people can micromanage. It comes with the territory. People are never going to let Mario off the hook for some of those past mistakes.
All right, guys, that's the Kane stuff situation this morning, and we'll get Omar's take on the other coach in town here, Mike McDaniel, as the Dolphins have landed in Spain. Omar's making his way out there later today. So we'll take a pause here. We got Omar Kelly, Donno, Dan Day with us here. I'm Hollywood, and we're filling in here for the big dog, who's going to join us later in the show, by the way, if he could figure out how to get his phone to work in Spain.
You got to let me know how to get this international plan. AT&T is there. Nobody wants to pick up the phone.
I suggest
you probably already have it. And you don't even realize you probably have international plan already. You just want to make sure you have the one where you're not like paying by the minute, like just because then they're really going to get you. I guarantee you your phone will work in Spain. The question is, make sure you're not overpaying for that time.
We got to get Omar straightened out here. Good morning to all of our people here hanging with us on YouTube. We got our chat going on there. Even this guy TYON28 who asked me to be quiet. Unfortunately, I can't this morning. Got to talk. That's part of the gig here. But good morning to everyone on there and our text as well.
It's kind of your show, and we're all guests. You know.
Well, it's our show this morning. We're the B team. We'll be back on QAM after this.
Tell you about Atlantic Men's Clinic, and I had such great results. I like to share it with everybody. Every guy out there, look at
It was like 53 degrees, I think it said, in the vehicle this morning. So, welcome back in here. We got Donno with us. We got Omar Kelly with us. Dan Day's driving the ship here. Jamie is back somewhere doing the podcast work as well. And gentlemen, we started off with the Hurricanes and everything going on there. Oh, we got Omar with us. I want to jump into the Dolphins here, and Omar and I just don't know what to think about this this Dolphins team anymore. They, one week they lay a massive egg, the next week they go out and look like the Super Bowl contenders. I just don't know what to make of this thing anymore. And I will tell you, I don't know what you thought too in that Buffalo game. Buffalo looked gassed on that sideline, man. They looked like the South Florida Heat just was killing them.
But it was the first quarter. Like I don't understand that. Like it was the first quarter. How do they look gassed in the first quarter?
I know Josh Allen looked rough on the sideline though, man. They showed him late in the game. His face was all red. He's pouting. He just looked rough.
It was a situation where I just think they took the Dolphins lightly. They're coming off that big win with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're like, oh, these Dolphins, we beat them 7 straight times. We know we're their daddy. Probably just didn't put that much effort and energy into it in practice and showed up against a team that was really playing for their coach. They just saw their GM get fired. They know their coach is next if they lay down or if they quit. That's a question. We're all sitting here wondering, when is this team going to quit on Mike McDaniel? Well, they just showed you they haven't, and they're probably not. One thing that Mike McDaniel said yesterday I found very interesting. He said that because they've been trying and changing how they practice, they've been changing everything. And they think that they found the formula versus Atlanta. We're talking about Frank Smith come to the sideline, change the energy. Because when they lost Tyreek, they lost a lot of energy. Not just playmaking, but they lost a lot of energy. So they thought they created a formula for how they're going to play. 6 offensive linemen, Devon Achane in the slot. Okay, it worked against Atlanta. But Baltimore, remember, they didn't have any time to practice. They didn't practice. They did 2 walkthroughs, and they played the game. And so you can't replicate that week's formula. And so what Mike said was, okay, this is a situation now where we can go back to the formula against the Bills. And so the 2 times that we've had a chance to do it with this formula, it's worked. We've cleaned up the game. I think it was Jordan Brooks who said the difference is coaches hammer to us three things all week. There's just 3 things all week. And if we do those 3 things, we'll have success. And the strategy has worked. Now, am I saying that it's going to work now that they're going to Washington and they're flying across country and they're practicing in Spain and Madrid? I don't know. And that's what the challenge Mike said, to try to replicate that when you're not at home and when you're living in a hotel and when when your family's there every single day and people want to go on tours and go to dinner and all kinds of stuff. It's probably going to be a challenge, but let's not make any excuses for this team, because I've said this all year. They are much better than how they played. If you think about the 4 fourth quarter losses that they've had, 3 of them they should have won. So we're looking at a team that should be really 6-4. If they
don't do that this morning, please.
No. If they actually
don't do that, it could also be 10-0. Just please stop with the they could have been. Like, they have bad losses, man. They had some really bad.
They got good wins too. I mean, they didn't look like a 3-7 team the other day.
They are a schizophrenic Dolphins team. It's
100%.
Omar, here's the other thing that I wanted to ask you though too, and we talk about this a lot on the show. It's like, all right, so you're in the reset, as I think it was Chris that coined the term reset, which he is no longer part of. Are you like all in on the rebuild or reset? Are you halfway in? Or are we coming back with? So my thing was like the Dolphins had a big 3, right? Their big 3 was Mike, Chris, and Tua. One of the big 3 has been eliminated.
Has been whacked, yes.
In Chris. Are you coming back with the other 2 members of the big 3? Are they in your future plans here? I mean, what GM is going to want to come in and try to work around this situation here, right? And I know that you're the leader of the Tua fan club. I understand that. But I think there's a lot of people that may be on the other side of this thing that think that this guy has severe limitations and that it would be tough to win with him.
All right.
What are they doing, though? What is the vision, Omar? I ask you. The same question I asked you during the offseason. The same question I think I ask you every time you're on the show. What is the vision that this team is going for here? What are they looking at?
We don't know what the vision is because we don't know who the leader will be. Mm-hmm. Now, we do know who the quarterback will be. He will be here unless Arizona wants to swap Kyler Murray with you.
That doesn't make sense.
Or the Raiders want to swap Geno Smith with you. No. He's going to be here. There's nobody out there who's going to pay him $54 million in guaranteed money. This is here.
But that doesn't mean that I can draft his
the meat and potatoes of his contract that he signed. This is it.
Yeah, but they could still draft his replacement theoretically?
Yeah, they can, but I promise you, there's nobody that they can draft. One, think about what this quarterback class is. Mendoza comes out of nowhere.
It's not great.
Because University of Miami turned their nose up at him and that's our guy. Like
maybe 2 or 3 of these guys end up being NFL stars. You'd never know. Like
you're correct. You're right. You're right on that.
On whether
and maybe Tua ends up being Daniel Jones. You don't know. You actually get an offensive line and running game. Maybe he actually turns out to be a good quarterback. Everybody thought Daniel Jones was trash. Now he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Like, how does that happen?
Well, first of all, he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Secondly, Daniel Jones has a skill set. I don't know how much you watch outside the Dolphins, Omar.
He's got a skill set different than Tua.
But he has a skill set that allows him to do some different things.
Oh, you still thought he was trash last year. Stop playing. Stop pretending.
Well, again, I mean, the guy had the physical ability, right? I mean, he had the physical tools. It's just, again, some of these guys, they all do, right? Anyone that's drafted in the top part of the draft, to some extent, has the physical goods to be a quarterback. Now, it does not always get put together in a way that is effective. The problem, I think, again, with Tua, is that you have to game plan for a guy that you do not want getting hit.
Okay, it's true. Here's the thing. You asked what's the formula, what's the recipe. I want a scorched earth cleanse. I want this whole thing to be nuked. I think this organization has cancer. It has to be cut out of the body. This is a loser organization, bad culture. I've been here for 18 years. I know what the culture is.
I did not expect this turn, by the way. I don't know. You're tough to gauge sometimes. Like, I don't know.
I'm with him. He's 100% right, though. Keep rolling, Omar.
Come on. Think about how many regime changes and culture changes I've been part of.
Right, but it's never, like Hollywood was saying, you never get the full change. There's always half measures.
Yesterday was a clear shot with a shotgun where they fired 2 of their longest standing executives and scouts. Guys that have been with the organization 32 years. So and did it now because their contracts don't end until after the draft. You know what I'm saying? They did it now. And that was like to send a message. Nobody is safe. We're cleaning house. We're starting fresh. The only thing I will say about this is if Mike can win 5 of the remaining 7, I think he'll be safe.
Oh, so now I got to root against the team now?
Donno.
I
can't root again. I can't sit and hate watch. I'm not a good hate watch.
I can't either, but Omar's basically telling me I better because I don't want to win 5 of the next 7 and have McDaniel back.
Yeah, I'm not a big hate watcher. I also don't think Mike is, well, I don't know.
But if they fight for the team, for the team with this roster and are able to continuously look like they looked against Atlanta and Buffalo, which it sounds like a real ridiculous thought.
Yeah, but then you got Ravens and Browns, Dolphins. So
I understand that. It sounds. I mean, but look at Buffalo. They lost to Miami. That's going to be like a Cleveland loss to us. You understand what I'm saying? It sounds like a ridiculous thought, but if they play like that and they win 5 of the next 7, and they get to 8 and 9, I know you hate that. How could you really let him go? How could you whack him?
I'll tell you how, and I'll tell you why. I think if you're going to do a regime change and you're going to have, hopefully you find the right GM. I feel like that person should have input on bringing in the coach that he wants.
Absolutely.
And okay, and maybe if the new GM wants to keep McDaniel, I guess that's up to him. But I think you need to give him the power and the autonomy to bring in the coach he wants.
Of course, he's going to tell Steve Ross he wants to keep McDaniel so he can get the job, and then we whack McDaniel the next year. It's a never-ending cycle around here. The same dysfunctional stuff we do. We've never started completely fresh. This organization needs to start completely fresh. Steve Ross is in the real estate business. Clear the land completely. Wipe it clean. Don't even leave a tree. And start building something.
We're doing a lot of whacking here early in the morning. We got to take a pause here. I want to check in, by the way. You got our local teams were in action last night, so we had a big night for everyone. And Omar, this guy on the I don't know if you can see the YouTube chat. I think this guy, Mr. 305 official. If you're the president of the Tua fan club, this guy's your VP. He's big in, man, all in on Tua. Everything sucks but Tua to that guy. So maybe you guys can bond over that. All right, we'll take a pause. We got a lot more to come here on QAM this morning. Joe will stop by later on. Omar's going to hang with us for another hour or so here as well. We'll come back and we'll get into some of the stuff that happened last night. A busy night in sports in town. That is next on QAM.
All right. Hey, man, it's truck month.
Back in here on WQAM. Joe is on his way to Spain. He will join us later in the show. I am Hollywood. Omar Kelly is here. Alex Donno is here. Dan Day is here. And I want to wish all of our veterans a very happy Veterans Day here today. And, of course, we honor all of our men and women who do something a whole heck of a lot more important than we're doing right now, just yapping about sports. So it is Veterans Day today on a Tuesday, by the way. So yes, today is Veterans Day. Kids are off of school today for that as well. But just wanted to make sure we send a very special thank you to everyone who serves our country. We certainly really appreciate that, and we are here doing something not very important. Of course, compared to what all they are doing out there for us. Omar, Donno, good morning, gentlemen. We seem to have people all fired up here this morning now with our Dolphins talk, our Canes talk, and I want to jump into some of this Heat stuff here because the Miami Heat put on another show last night. I got to tell you, this team has become so fun to watch. Omar, I think it's funny you talked about killing the. You said, what did you say? The cancer of the Dolphins. The Jimmy Butler disease is gone from the Miami Heat. Omar, I think you got to unmute yourself. I think Omar might be muted here, but
Donno, you got to stop it. You are a Jimmy Butler fanboy, and now he's the cancer.
I love Jimmy, but I think it's clear if there was something that was removed from the equation, it's that. And I think this team goes out and plays freely and is not worried about having Jimmy pouting on the bench or pouting in the corner or whatever it is that he was doing last season. I just think he was a big, big problem. And I'll tell you, man, this Norman Powell, my God, man, he puts up 33 points last night. He might be the steal of the NBA right now, the way that he's playing. The Heat bring him in. It's funny, Donald. Like I see Desmond Bain is over there with Orlando, and they brought him in. They're like, he's going to get us over the hump. And Desmond Bain stinks over there so far. I know he had a game-winning 3 last night, but he's been terrible.
Well, yeah, and how about that? That was, I think, the first time ever that two NBA teams in the same state win a game on a buzzer beater in the same night. That happened last night for Miami and Orlando. I was reading.
That sounds like a Tim Reynolds.
Not that anyone cares, but that's never happened before.
Yeah, that's a Tim Reynolds stat of the day there.
It is.
I don't know how you got that one, but
I think Tim might have posted it.
That might have been. That sounds like a Tim Reynolds stat of the day there.
That does have Tim Reynolds all written all over it.
This Heat thing is what an incredible story. Wiggins goes for 23 last night. Kalal Ware 14 and 20. 20 rebounds for him. Davion Mitchell, 11 points, 8 assists. Larson with 10 points. So the Heat get all their 5 starters in double figures. And you got 2 guys off the bench who end up in double figures. Fontecchio only plays 16 minutes. He scores 13. With maybe the best story on this team is Jaime Jaquez, who went through the sophomore slump and has come out the other side here with a monster line once again. 22 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks.
Can anybody explain
all very efficiently?
Can anybody explain why he went through the sophomore slump and why he was as bad as he was in his second season after being such a impressive performer as a rookie?
Yeah, because the sophomore slump's a thing. I don't know. That's why they call it the sophomore slump, because you have to go through it and then you come back out on the other side.
Well, I think it's something, Omar, you were talking about earlier in football. I think there gets to be tape out on you, and I think you have to kind of adapt. And I think it took Jaime his second year to adapt, and he's clearly not the same player he was as a rookie or a second-year player. Like, his game continues to grow. And I think that was it. I think the film gets out on you and you hit that wall, and then you have to come out on the other side, and he's evolved himself enough.
Good point, though, Donno. When you look in the NFL, there's a lot of quarterbacks that just go nuts their rookie year, and then the second year, like, Jaden Daniels, kind of a decent example. I know he's been banged up and everything, and he's not going to play this weekend. He didn't even travel out there to Spain. Terry McLaurin's not going to play either. We'll get to that stuff later, but yeah, that sophomore slump thing is real, right? And we're seeing Jaime Jaquez can come out on the other side of this thing, and he has looked absolutely incredible. The Heat are 7-4. They are undefeated at home, 5-0 at the friendly confines of the Kaseya Center. And more good news, we're getting those Vice Knights jerseys back here. So the Heat will be in the black Vice jerseys, which, for my money, the coolest alternate jersey in the history of alternate jerseys for any sport. I don't know that there's a better uniform. And the white ones are nice. I just don't like white because it gets dirty. You know, so I just prefer
the black ones are the best for sure.
Yeah. So if I'm a purchaser, I prefer black. And those things are sweet. They're coming back. I have a Udonis Haslem at home. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have any.
So they didn't change it up at all. They just stayed with the traditional Vice.
It looks like the same thing as far as I could tell. And I guess they have like there's like a patch on it for the 20th anniversary of the 2006 championship team. But other than that, and then I think there's a different sponsor on the top there. But you could buy them. Usually, if you buy them on the Nike website, they don't have the big sponsor patch on there. Just
that,
if you buy them from China, you got to get the patch.
If you go that route, I guess you do. But again, shout out to the Heat, man. What a performance last night. The Canes Hoops 3-0. They're going to take on the defending champion Florida Gators on Sunday night in Jacksonville. So we'll see. I'll get a good measuring stick on how good the Canes are, but they have looked very solid.
Malik Renaud, what a freaking player, man. Hollywood.
He has been unbelievable. Donno, I think this team is loaded up with talent here, and we can go down the list. We could do that later on in the show. But that was fun last night, and Jay Lucas has himself quite the little team over there. I shouldn't say little. I don't know if you've seen these guys. They are enormous.
Yeah, they've got some large players this year.
Yeah, they are loaded up with defensive ends on that Hurricanes basketball team. And the Panthers with a late night win last night. So a lot of winning going on here in South Florida. 7 o'clock hours next on WQAM.
Hurricane season, man.
At Doral Kia, home of the Pricito, our lowest price. Visit us at Doral Kia and DoralKia.com. The Heat defeated the Cavs 140-138 in overtime on a last-second Andrew Wiggins alley-oop. To play again tomorrow at 7:30. The Eagles down the Packers 10-7. Hurricanes basketball team routed Stetson 102-61. They face 10th-ranked Florida Sunday 8:30 in Jacksonville, Florida. Panthers, they completed their West Coast swing, downing the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2. They return home to play the Washington Capitals Thursday at 7. And the Dolphins have parted ways with co-directors of player personnel Adam Ingroff and Anthony Hunt. Hunt's been with the team since 1994, Ingroff since 1999. I'm Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
T-Pain. Got a fresh line up, get fresh outfit, but I had a parking lot on smash.
Yeah, we welcome you back in here for the 7 o'clock hour. There's Dan Day on the update, getting you all filled in. Busy night last night in South Florida. Joe making his way to Spain. I am Hollywood. Donno is with me. Donno's going to be with me the rest of the week here. Dan Day will be with me. Omar is with us for another hour until he sets sail for Spain.
You excited for the trip, Omar? What are you going to eat over there?
Paella and something else. Everybody can tell me. Paella. Huh?
Very original. Paella and anything that's Spanish.
Yeah.
You got to. I mean, paella is I've never been to Spain, believe it or not, but paella I hear is a must.
You have never been to Spain?
I've never been to Spain. I go to usually if I've been to obviously Italy. I got family there many times. My family loves Austria.
You're probably the most world traveler I know, and you've never been to Spain.
Never been to Spain.
Isn't like Ibiza over there where they have all those cool nightclubs?
That's way too cool for me. Yeah, I'm not. Even if I went to Spain, I wouldn't go to Ibiza. They'd kick me right out. Way too cool.
Where is this Ibiza?
It's where everybody parties. I don't know. It's
on the map.
It's an island off of Spain. That is all it is just EDM and partying and rich living.
Yeah.
There you go, Omar. Right up your alley. Exactly what you love.
Omar was asking you where is it because he's putting it in his itinerary.
Yeah, I'm like, I got a couple of days before Sunday's game. Maybe I can swing on over. We are going to Barcelona, that will be exciting.
Omar's gonna go. He's gonna open up his Uber app and he's just gonna type in Ibiza.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to spell it. He's gonna type it in Ibiza.
I don't even know it's an island. I don't even know if you can Uber there. Not sure. There's a bridge, or you take a boat.
He's taking a boat to Spain as it is, so maybe they can stop in. Anyway, Omar is going to be setting sail here in about an hour or so. So thank you, Omar, for joining us here this morning, waking up early. Happy Veterans Day to everyone out there as well. Thank you to all of our servicemen and women here this morning.
Do you know they haven't been paid in 2 months?
Who's that?
The veteran, not the veterans, the military people.
Government
employees. They haven't been paid in 2 months.
Okay.
Imagine that.
Is that they are part of that too?
Yes, they are.
They get hit by that thing. All right. Well, last I saw, and it's a very, very bad road to go down. We don't do politics on the program, but I will tell you, last I saw, and I follow this very loosely. It looked like they were voting to open things back up. I think the vote has reached the House.
Okay.
So I guess it's Senate, then House. I thought it was the other way around, but
I think you could go either way.
So am I'm relearning how like a lot of basic stuff works.
Yeah, we learned that in like 11th grade or 12th grade, and then totally
forgot those old videos, the Schoolhouse Rock videos.
Yes.
In jumps.
How to get a bill? What is it? How a bill gets created?
Yeah.
My oldest is Mr. Bill. My oldest is going through elementary school now, so I'm relearning a lot of stuff. And I will tell you, 3rd grade math is a bitch, man. That thing is really
They changed the math. Like when my wife does this a lot more than me with the homework, but whenever I'm looking at my son's math problems, it's like the same equations, but they teach you how to get there a different way. So it's like pretty soon I won't be able to help anymore if they don't do the math the same way they did when I was a kid.
My wife is much stronger in the book learnings than I am.
Same.
He tends to be the helper when it comes to homework. But yeah, he shows me some of these math problems, and I mean it's just it's a struggle because you don't remember any of this stuff. Like, why would you? And I'm not trying to like down the whole process here, but like we have calculators and computers
and AI.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess you need to learn this stuff to be well-rounded.
Speaking of AI, did you guys pay attention to the troll job a certain coach in the NFL did to the Buffalo Bills fans after the game?
Yeah, when he said, and you were probably in the room because I read the quote, when he said that it was AI, was he serious or was he being coy?
He said he was being coy. It's being
coy.
AI.
It was him.
It was it was him. Yes, it was him. There's a video of it. Like it was him and him and his Bentley.
I love it.
I asked the question.
Is that what he drives around in?
Huh?
Is that what he drives around in?
Oh yeah, when I say he's a stylish man, he is.
I know. I see him on the sidelines. I know that he's into that.
He doesn't have any pants that go below the ankle. He's very stylish.
Yeah. Because AI, I was like, I immediately knew it was really him because his watch is hanging out the window. I see the $1,000 shades. It's like all of the designer stuff that I know he wears. There's no way that AI would know to create that. I'm like, if AI is that good, we are doomed as a society.
Yeah, it's not that good yet. I've noticed like the AI videos are still a little sus. Like probably within like 3 months, it'll probably be up to par. But right now, I can still tell the difference I have sometimes.
Been quite a few times already, and so now because of AI, I have to question everything. I have to question everything that you see. Like literally, I remember when Micah Parsons was being traded, there was a video that came out and Micah Parsons talking crap about Jerry Jones, and it looked so real.
Yeah,
I was like, I had to send it to a Dallas beat reporter. I was like, is this real or is this AI? They are getting good.
Those are my favorites. The ones where they take like coach press conferences and they just completely like redo what the guy's saying. Those are my favorites. But yeah, that stuff is it's way over my head. You know, I'd like to have a robot work in my home, but
you will soon have a robot work in your home. They're that like apparently you two are big stock traders. Those companies are like killing it right now in the stock market. The robots are going to take over our jobs in like 10 years.
This is not financial advice, by the way. We don't do financial advice either, but according to Omar, the AI companies are doing well. So Omar's advice for today is buy NVIDIA stock.
NVIDIA's been crushing it.
Omar's advice here.
I just put my money under my mattress.
Hey man, that's the safest thing to do outside of putting it in the bank and earning a little bit of interest. That's probably the safest thing to do. Omar's liquid. In case he needs to go. In case he needs to have a big night on the town. Omar's
got runaway money hidden in his
If Omar's ever taken, you know where the money is. Just go under his bed. We'll pay his the ransom. We got to have Omar, so we'll bring him back.
Nobody rob my house while I'm gone, please.
Yeah, exactly. But all right. So Omar, Donno, we got let's see here what we got going on. Kings basketball wins last night. The Panthers win last night. The Heat win last night. So it's a good morning here. And it's cold outside. So it's a nice day here in South Florida. So we really hit the jackpot.
So when it gets cold, we view it as a nice day around here.
I love cold weather.
I do. I mean, Dan maybe not because he's lived in actual cold climates. So
I also
he's got
feel like
PTSD.
Dan wants to go to the beach every day. Dan, is this true?
You hit it right on the head. My whole goal is I get out of here at 10 o'clock and I'm supposed to go straight to the beach. But now with this weather.
Yeah, Dan will be freezing his
back. I love weather like this. And again, I've lived in South Florida my entire life. So give me a day where it like dips below 50 and I enjoy it and I try to savor it.
You bring out your leather jacket and your scarves and
no, actually, I wear like t-shirts still. I enjoy the cold for a change. Like I like it. I like the cold air to hit my skin. It's just such a nice change.
My favorite thing is when the women bring out the Uggs, which are the ugliest shoes ever in life. Yeah. However, my daughter has become obsessed with boots now, so she does have a pair of Uggs. She's getting a pair of Uggs for Christmas. And they are just the ugliest things ever. But
aren't those the ones that are made out of animal?
No, I
don't think so.
They're like just big and not furry, but I don't even know. Clunky.
Didn't Tom Brady made the Ugg boots famous? Do you remember?
Yeah,
He
Dan
wore
Day,
Uggs.
bring us up some Uggs so people who are watching the show can
that would be Jamie's thing, but Jamie, you don't have to do that. We're not an Ugg show here. I'm in here. I'm rocking the sweats and the
you're built for 40-degree weather. Every single your Adam Sandler chic is just built for this.
Right up my alley. I've been waiting to take out the sweatpants. Last year we didn't have a sweatpant day. So I usually get to wear my sweatpants. I go a couple trips a year with the team, and that's when I usually get to break out my sweatsuits for travel purposes. But
if people think he's joking, he's not. His whole wardrobe is like
big
sweatsuits, one khaki pants, one pair of jeans, the Jordan 11s that I bought him, and then some ugly shoes. No, you got Ugg boots.
Don't call my New Balances ugly. Okay, there's a little.
No, you're in trend right now. You're in style right now.
Like Kawhi Leonard and Shohei Ohtani would never steer you wrong.
Because dad shoes are like the new it thing. Like the big
just because my original style is now becoming trendy. All right,
He lucked into it.
Don't hate no more. And I don't own any khaki pants at the moment, by the way. I'm only jeans at the moment.
You are khaki free. Like
what
if you have a job interview one day? What about if you want to get a real job? You've got nothing to wear to this.
Well, I think I went to
wear a suit to a real job interview.
Donno lost a bunch of weight, so Donno's like a twig now. So you probably had to get.
Then I gained half of it back, so I'm like in this weird in between phase where like
you go to Italy and you carb load over there.
That was the problem. So like I'm like exactly halfway where I was before I lost weight and then after. So none of my clothes fit. I've got the fat clothes and then I got like the 33-inch waist pants that don't fit anymore. So I've got like 7 outfits that I can wear.
You weren't prepared for the in between.
No, I was not prepared for I'm dead serious. Like I got some pants that are like 38 or 40-inch waists that fall off me. I got some that are 33 that I can't button. I got nothing.
This is a weird problem to have.
It is.
I understand.
I went through a bad phase where I had those sweatpant jeans. Have you seen those? Those like jogger jeans that have like the elastic waistband.
I've seen those. Yeah,
those to get you through the in between times here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is sad. Because I get that, right? How much? If you don't mind me asking, you lost, a significant amount of weight, right?
I think originally I lost 55, 60 pounds, but then I gained like 30 of them back. So I just, nothing works.
That's
man. Donno lost
all that weight drastically. Like, how easy is it to keep it off? Because I like a burger.
It's not. So like I got to a point where I was only eating like the healthiest stuff. Like I didn't use any injections or medication. Like I just went hardcore where I was only eating like grilled chicken, vegetables, fruit, and I did that for like a year. And I got maybe more than that, but like I really got used to it, and it was like comfortable. But probably like my stomach shrank and everything. And then for some reason, I think it was one of the vacations I took where I kind of opened things up, and then you get into bad habits. And then like the weight comes back really fast when you're used to eating like you're Adam and Eve or something, and you're like foraging, and then all of a sudden you start eating processed food again. It completely throws your system off.
Hey man, that healthy food is not good. Like, the junk food is good for a reason, right?
Yeah, well, the trick is, and like you're right, like it's hard to eat all the healthy food, but like when you're eating like lean meats and stuff, a lot of seasoning and a lot of hot sauce, because hot sauce has like no calories in it, and seasoning has like so you just try to you season your food like crazy to try to give you some kind of flavor.
All right, that is Donno. Omar Kelly is with us here as well. I'm Hollywood Dan Day driving the program, and Jamie back there running the YouTube thing here. We'll jump back into some of the football talk. There's this one. You see this one guy on the chat here, Omar. He's just beside himself that we've talked something other than football for 5 minutes. So we will get back.
There are guys who are mad that you haven't talked about the Heat winning, even though we have talked about it. Sorry if you missed the 6 o'clock hour.
Hey man, we're just here to try to serve the will of the people here. Whatever it is they want to hear us talk about, we will deliver. Because we have our multiple experts here this morning. We got our Canes expert in Donno. We got our Dolphins expert in Omar, and I'm just here to try to make.
We got our resident complainer in you.
Yeah, sure. I'm a complainer because I can't figure out what to do with the Dolphins, whether I want them to win or lose at this point. I don't even know anymore. I'm so lost in this thing. We'll get back to it when we come back on QAM.
First, I want to talk about Michael Kotze at Choice Mortgage. Doesn't play the off.
DaniaBeach.com. That's casino.
We welcome you back in here on WQAM. Hope everyone's having a great start to their cold Tuesday morning here in South Florida. Happy Veterans Day, by the way. I am Hollywood. Omar Kelly is with us for another half an hour before he says goodbye and leaves us here in America. Donno is with us. Donno's in America, and Dan Day is with us as well. Omar, as you get set to leave us here, give us some parting thoughts on this game here for the Dolphins. I got to tell you, the next three games, and again, I don't know where I stand on this whole Dolphins thing anymore. I'm like confused. I don't know what to think. They look like they should be able to win the next three games. With that being said, who the hell knows, right? Which Dolphin team you're going to get on a given week. But it does seem the more that they win, the more secure the remaining two of the big three are, and that would be Mike and Tua. You know, Chris is already out. Do these next three games, Omar, they win these things, they rattle these three in a row off. Where does that leave us here as Dolphin fans? Are we back in the hunt? Are we going to be on the bottom of that in the hunt graphic?
Yeah, you're going to be right on the fringe of the in the hunt graphic. I think the AFC is too good this year. When you're talking about Denver, Los Angeles Chargers, you know, the AFC is really good. I mean, we're talking about Buffalo possibly not making the playoffs. Kansas City is struggling. Baltimore's struggling, trying to get back in the mix. Pittsburgh was good. Now they're on the decline. It's really confusing. But I think there's a good chance that this team could win at least 4 of the final 7 games. Now, if they get to 5, I might think Mike deserves to get an extended stay. Here's the thing about it. I look at it from this standpoint. Tua is going to be here. Will Tua benefit from being in the same offense, or will Tua have a chance to succeed if he's put in a fresh offense? I don't think the owner's still in love or infatuated with Tua Tagovailoa. I think the owner's at a point where he's ready to start all over. At least I hope he is. The firing of Adam Ingroff and Anthony Hunt, 2 executives who've been with this team for 30 years, that is huge, massive shockwaves and a message that we are changing things up around here. So,
but you can't halfway change it. Right. And I agree.
We've done half measures the whole time. We've done half measures for the last 3 decades.
And I agree with what you said earlier. It's just funny. Like this guy, like people hear what they want to hear. Right. I think I says you're the mouthpiece of the Dolphins establishment. I mean, you literally in the opening segment of the show said to blow the entire thing up and that not one person should be back and that the organization is, riddled with what
cancer,
which not a very nice thing to say, obviously. So I don't know where these people get these different things.
I stand on it. Show me where there's a period where there hasn't been dysfunction.
I am with you. Like if they, send out another letter at the end of the season, like we're gonna patch this thing up the best that we can, and run it back for you here. Like I just don't know how many Dolphin fans can tolerate another season of this, because the every time you patch it up, that's one less season you have to try to rebuild and get it right.
I don't know if there's any rebuilding this roster, to be honest with you. The foundation is so bad because the draft picks have been so bad. A lot of free agent signings have been so bad. I mean, how often, like I give you a perfect example. Juju Brents, who started last week's game, number 32. You saw him ball. Probably had one of the best games I've ever seen from a cornerback. Outside of Jalen Ramsey. This guy's been on your roster from week 1. Mm-hmm. Like, Name me the last time you've seen a player finally get some action and actually impress around here. Name the last guy who did that. His name was Devon Achane, like 3 years ago. Why wasn't he playing? You have the worst secondary in the NFL. You have 121 passer rating. Every quarterback balls like he's a Pro Bowler against you. And this guy wasn't playing? Like, are you serious? So it's just stuff like that just makes you want to throw your hands up. And keep in mind, this guy, there are 11 players on this team that were drafted higher than him. He was drafted 8 spots ahead of Cam Smith in the same draft. And he was riding your pine? Like, you claimed him, and he's riding your pine? Why? Like, you don't have that much talent. Play the young guys who have talent. We've already gone through these struggles with these rookies. We're on the other side of it now. At this point, the second half of the season, you should be figuring out who can play. Like, I'm glad they activated Zeke Biggers finally, because, Lord, like, why the hell aren't you playing him? Like, you can't stop the run. You don't think adding the biggest defensive lineman on your team might help?
So let's say you're Omar Kelly, the fan, not Omar Kelly, the beat writer. What do you want this team to do? Do you want them to lose? Do you want them to win down the stretch? Like, because Donno, I feel like Donno, you're with me. Like, it is a very tough situation here. Because
it's a very tough situation, but I do tend to prefer wins because I feel like for our local teams, the idea of like tanking has never actually worked the way you want it to work, and I think it is important to culturally, especially in football. I think winning games does pay dividends down the road, so I would lean to preferring them to win.
So what would you say then to the people that are like, I want Mike out of here, and I've seen enough from Tua that I know what I'm getting, and I want major organizational changes? What would you say to that fan base? Because and Omar, you would have a much better gauge on this than anyone. I don't know what the percentages are. Like, if you had to put a number on it, is it a 50-50 split? People that want this thing blown up? Is it more like a 70-30 people that want it blown up?
It's about 70-30 people want it blown up.
Okay. So the 30 are just the loyal Dolphin fans that just want to win no matter what.
They don't even care which quarterback you're tanking for. And I find this quarterback class very interesting because the ones that were supposed to be good suck. And then the ones that are kind of good came out of nowhere. And truthfully speaking, none of them are super impressive. None of them are polished. And I said this last week, and people got all in their feelings. None of them are at Shedeur Sanders' level, which is kind of scary. Some have raw tools, but are very unpolished. There's a South Carolina quarterback. Can't remember his name right now, but Donno should know because the University of Miami will probably pay him about $16 billion.
Lenoris Sellers. Yeah, I'm already raising the money for that.
Yeah. It's because he's good. He's super talented. His team sucks around him.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, is he going to enter the draft or is he going to go cash out in college? And everybody know who's the big payer in college. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's like this kid's already shopping for homes in South Florida.
By the way, just put checks in the mail for Donno. He'll deposit them in the fund.
Yeah. So it's this quarterback class is mediocre, and yes, the top dog is a Miami Cuban kid, and that's great. But where would he stack up with Cam Ward, who you see struggling in the NFL? He can't even hold Cam Ward's jockstrap.
But you don't know that though. That's just your evaluation of a guy playing in the college game. How many times I keep going back to this? Like, how many times do you see a guy that struggles in college that lights it up in the pros? And the opposite way. I think you see the opposite way a whole lot more, right? Yeah. Guys that are drafted in the top few picks of the draft. We have one on our roster. The Dolphins' backup quarterback was taken second overall. Yeah, because the New York Jets thought he could play.
Everybody thought he could play.
He also drafted Sam Darnold.
But you're making a perfect example why I don't like this draft class, because that Darnold's class was all tools, no execution. That whole class was all tools, no execution. This class is the same way. The only one who's producing is Mendoza. And he's got and that fourth quarter performance, that might be one of the top 10 performances I've ever seen in terms of a winning drive. So I loved it. I think it's great.
Right, but also in that same game, he was really shaky up until the game-winning drive. So it's like, do you take the good with the bad, or do you only focus on the game-winning drive?
Because it's all he saw, Donno. He turned it on in the last 2 minutes of the game.
He did.
Final drive.
Listen.
Throw the rest of the stuff out, and that's all.
No. I saw the whole thing. I watched him play Oregon. I think, and I liked him against University of Miami. I was like,
yeah,
he
was good. He was very good in that game. Yeah,
I thought they should have recruited him and brought him home to be the Hurricanes quarterback.
Yeah,
good tools, like him, not polished. Now you're right. Some of those guys develop and blossom. I didn't think Drake May was the quarterback that he's turned out to be.
Yeah.
And he's showing you, but that sometimes that could be coaching and development. I didn't think Dart was going to be as good as he was. And he's
very small sample size there, though.
Yeah. I knew teams were
right.
Teams are going to create a game plan for him, and once they create a game plan for him, you got to see how they adjust and react to it. Hell, we're 6 years into teams creating a game plan for Tua, and he's not adjusting and reacting to it quite well right now. But that's because he has got a crappy offensive line, and he's got two weapons, Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle. Like, how hard is that to play?
Really hard, apparently. But look, if there's one thing I've learned about the NFL, it is hard to evaluate quarterbacks, or at least they make it seem very hard, because the Dolphins, I think a good example is you took Tua with Justin Herbert sitting there on the board. Justin Herbert checked every single box.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. Which box did he not check?
Charisma, character, leadership.
And that's where you're wrong, because that there were people that would strongly disagree with you on that whole nonsense you're talking about. And you see him in the league now, by the way. Does he seem to lack charisma?
No, he still has issues with those things, but you'll gloss over them because you don't know as much. Yeah, 2 years ago, his wide receivers complained about the fact that he's not a leader. But it is what it is.
I actually think I might have more knowledge on this one than you do, but
how so?
That one I may, but you ask who's that girl that he's dating? The big the pop singer over there. What's her name?
I have no idea who he's dating.
I don't even know who he's dating.
Well, you guys Google pictures of her. She just did the Victoria's Secret thing a couple weeks ago. You guys Google pictures of her, and we'll take a pause. You guys let me know if you think he lacks charisma. Then,
oh my goodness,
look at Donno's eyes. I don't.
Hold on, wait a minute. I gotta Google.
Donno's eyes like just exploded out of his head.
Justin,
I would follow this man to war if that's who he's dating.
It's Madison Beer. She's a musician. She's got some joints.
There you go. Madison Beer.
Okay. All right.
Omar sees now. He's like,
no. She's too thin.
She's too thin. Of course she is. All right, we got to take a pause here. Omar, you're nuts. We'll be back. We'll finish up with Omar, and Donno is going to hang with us the rest of the way. Joe's going to join us, by the way. If everyone wondering where Joe is, he is in Spain, so he'll join us as well. We'll continue on. More on QAM after this.
Want to tell you about my friends at Around the Clock.
And it's presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much. You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Hollywood, Omar Kelly, Alex Donno along here with you. We will say goodbye to Omar after this segment here as he will set sail to Spain. And Omar, we wish you the best of luck in your travels.
You act like I'm going on the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Like
you're exploring uncharted territory. What do you got? A direct flight out of Miami? Is that how you get over there?
Yeah, this whole Iberia, American. I booked my ticket through American, and then all of a sudden I realized like I'm really booked through Iberia.
They're partners,
and I have no idea where I'm supposed to check in. I'm just like going to go to American and be like, here's my bags.
I would probably go to the sign that that represents the airline that you're booked on, but that's usually a recipe for success.
Take it from a guy that does some backways booking. Just go to American. It's all under the Iberia label, but it's all a name. American.
You could probably go to either one. You could probably go to the Iberia or the American.
I don't pay for bag checks in American.
My favorite
go to American.
My favorite Omar Kelly airport story was Omar was flying. I don't remember where it was. He was flying like Frontier, and
that's not my favorite.
He gets out of his Uber and just drops his bag on the curb and was like looking around, and he goes, "There's nobody here to take my bag." First of all, I don't know any airline that does that.
Yeah, American.
I'm not traveling enough. I've never gotten out of an Uber.
You don't do curbside check-in?
Someone come up to me and say, "Sir, can I take your bag?" Like I'm checking into a 5-star hotel.
I am a curbside check-in guy. I'm sorry. I
didn't even know that was still a thing.
I am not walking to a counter. Ugh.
I didn't know people check bags anymore either.
Travelers,
you got to carry on. Isn't that the picture of you that always comes up? The picture of the guy at the was it a rental car or an airline counter?
It's not me.
That picture always? Who is that?
What makes you think we all look alike? Huh? Dan?
Who is that? No. Well, the problem is they use that picture for you every time. So I'm curious. Do you know who is in that picture?
I think it's like Larry Fitzgerald. It's somebody. The only reason I know it's not me is because I've never had those sneakers. I really have to search that picture and be like. The only reason I know it's not me. One, I don't rent Hertz, and I've never owned those sneakers.
Who's your rental car company of choice? Then you want to shout them out this morning?
National. Okay. I'm a Marriott guy, an American Airlines guy, and a national rental car guy.
You got loyalty.
Loyalty is everything in traveling.
I'm a punch in my destination on Priceline. Whoever's cheapest, let's go, man.
That's fair. That's the loyalty.
Omar wants those miles. He's not paying.
That's true.
I pay sometimes.
Oh, so when you pay, sometimes you stay with you use your miles.
No. I actually didn't use my miles on this one. I have a friend that's coming with me, and I paid that in cash, sir. I did not use my miles. Sometimes you gotta factor it in.
Don't they have nicer seats on those international flights, though?
What'd you say?
Don't they have nicer seats on the international flights? Like, don't they have like those comfy?
Yeah, and then the ones that come out to the side, and they're a little. I like
two of those.
When I like flying. I like flying when I hate connecting, but sometimes there are flights that come to Miami because they're about to go like internationally, and when you get on one of those planes, it's good living over there.
They're gonna serve you a meal on this thing?
2, I think
they will. Yeah,
2 meals.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't remember the last time I had a meal on a plane. I was on a Spirit Airlines flight recently, and they tried to charge me for a bottle of water.
Yeah. Spirit. Yeah. You fly Spirit. Oh,
yeah, they were like, "Sir, there's a sink in the bathroom if you want free water." Just put a
drink out the toilet.
Just hit the button on the toilet and stick your head in there if you want.
Give yourself
free water on this flight, sir. The big scam the airports got going is they make you dump your water out before you get through security.
I know. I hate
that. And then charge you $4.50 for a bottle of water. See, but you got to be smart.
More about airline security than I do. Has got to tell me why water.
Because you can carry gasoline or any kind of liquid. But the smart people that travel, you just take an empty bottle of water and then you fill it once you get inside the terminal.
Right.
See, you got to think about these things.
With the airport bathroom sink water.
No, airports have filtered water.
Oh, they do now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, everywhere. Yeah,
that's good to hear.
And American has recently upgraded. I mean, my MIA has recently upgraded some of their bathroom establishments, which was definitely needed.
Guy in the chat goes, "This dude's flying Spirit as if he doesn't have a job." I've actually not had bad experiences.
Oh, Spirit!
I don't know, maybe that's crazy, but
Spirit
I have not had bad
chairs are a piece of wood with like a blanket over them.
No. So I flew on a Frontier flight back from Vegas, and that was a costly error. So I was told, I don't know if this is true, but I was told that plane was used to transfer prisoners. And
oh my gosh, like Con Air.
Apparently they had just taken some vinyl and just like wrapped the seats.
Oh yeah,
I was literally sitting.
Wood. It's like wood with a blanket on it.
I was sitting on straight wood, and my ass hurt for a long. That's a long flight, man. After a big weekend in Vegas, and my ass was sore for like a week after that thing, man. That was
had nothing to do with the brothels you were attending.
Yeah. So to be honest, though, I've never had that much trouble on one of those airlines.
I mean,
I think it's just a gamble, right? It's like you never know. You never know what.
They're gonna charge you for everything. I don't like those airlines that charge you for everything. Oh, you got a check-on bag? That's $30. Yeah. Oh, you want some water? $5. Like
it's what they do. They have these regional airlines in Europe. Like there's EasyJet. Like people take those because like Europe, all the countries are like you fly like 3 countries over. It's like a 90-minute flight. That's like the whole concept. They fly this EasyJet, and then you think you got this amazing fare. But then they've got a fee for everything. It's like to stow your bag, it's an extra fee for a bottle of water for chip. So by the time you get out of there, it's like, wait, I kind of paid the same. I just thought I was getting this amazing fare.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was going to a wedding and I was taking the Spirit flight. I had a backpack and I had my my suit. You know, you carry the suit onto the plane. I've never ever had any airline say you can't take the suit. Like it's just
part 2 items. What do you
No, it's not an item. It's not an item. It's a suit.
No, it's 2 items, sir.
So I get up to the counter and they're like, that's going to be $60 if you want to carry your suit with you. And so I took my backpack off and I put it inside the garment bag and I just dragged the garment bag onto the plane.
It's smart.
And so we beat the system that way.
Wow, that's pretty good. I thought you'd have to put the suit on, but hey,
that was plan B, my friend. That was plan B. They were. I was not parting with that $60. That was plan B.
Oh, I know how cheap you are. I know you were made.
I will put this thing on right now over this this basketball outfit I'm wearing. I will put this thing on. All right, Omar, safe travels, my friend. Bring us home a win or a loss or whatever.
Some paella
anymore. Bring us home some paella.
Yeah, I know you hate those European trips, but I tell you, it's like a Super Bowl in a weird city. It's like I love seeing the 32 different jerseys at one game.
I'm very happy for those people over there. I hope the Dolphins win 3-0. Have a great trip, Omar. We'll see you. Thanks for coming on. Maybe we'll check in with you while you're up there if you don't mind.
No problem. I got to figure out what the time is, but yeah, sure.
All right.
I think it should be like 5 or 6 hours ahead of us.
Thanks, Omar. See you later.
All right.
Donno's going to hang with us the rest of the way here. Dan Day is with us as well. We'll try to track Joe down. I don't know what his time's going to be like up there, so we'll try to figure that out, see if he's even awake. But Donno, we got a lot of college football stuff that I do want to get to with you as this thing's starting to heat up here. The Canes, are they in? Are they out if they win the rest of the way? They got 3 left. We'll talk with Donno, and we'll get into that when we come back. The 8 o'clock hour is next on QAM.
One time.
Thursday at 7. Hurricanes basketball team routed Stetson to 102-61. They'll face 10th-ranked Florida Sunday 8:30 in Jacksonville, Florida. And the Canes football team landed 4-star edge rusher DeAnthony Lafayette. The Orlando native flipped his commitment from LSU. Of course, Miami, they host NC State Saturday at 3:30. I am Dan Day. Now back to the Joe Rose Show here on 104.3 FM WQAM.
Check it out now. No doubt now.
Welcome back in here on WQAM. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all our men and women who have served and continue to serve our country as we welcome you back in here. I'm Hollywood. Donno is with me. Omar is Spain bound, so Omar is gone. Dan Day still here with us. And Dan, on that update, a lot of winning going on last night here in South Florida. It's a nice little. Well, we usually get it from those teams, Donno, but it's been a nice change here with the football stuff here with the Dolphins, and not having to talk about getting smashed by the Bills this week.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that, right? When I saw you Saturday at the Hurricanes game, but we were already thinking about the Dolphins game on Sunday. I knew I'd be doing shows with you this week. We thought we'd be complaining about the Dolphins, but not exactly.
Yeah. And I don't know what to think anymore about this team. Omar didn't really help matters, but he said, blow the whole thing up when the season's over. Look, the longer you let this linger and, kind of fester here, I just think they need to make some wholesale changes over there. And we'll see. We'll see how the rest of this season goes. And if they decide to do that, or if they say, hey, we like the consistency with Mike and Tua, that could be a direction that they go as well. So only time will tell there. But how about the Heat last night? An incredible performance. They get a last-second win over the Cavs. The Cavs are a very good team, and the Heat win it 140-138 in overtime. Miami gets a last-second alley-oop there from Andrew Wiggins. Nice play drawn up by Coach Spo, who was doing a fantastic job.
It was actually Chris Quinn's play. They call it the CQ, and they let Chris Quinn actually get in the timeout and draw it up. Apparently, that's something that Coach Quinn has had for like 3 years, and they finally busted it out, and that was, that was absolutely beautiful, the way that everyone worked in harmony to create that diversion and that distraction for Wiggins to cut to the basket, and then the alley-oop pass was perfect.
I love it. So you got Norman Powell, who's like the steal of the NBA right now. He had 33 points last night. He's been tremendous here for Miami. Wiggins at 23. Khalil Ware put up a nice double-double, 14 and 20. And then Jaime Jaquez Jr., you talk about they got all these odds, Donna, for most improved player, sixth man of the year. We'll see if he stays as the Heat's sixth man, if they eventually have to move him into the starting lineup or not. But, man, Jaime Jaquez has been sensational here. 22 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists. So comes 3 assists shy of a triple-double. Last night. He only played 33 minutes to do all of that. So very, very impressive stuff by the Heat. The Panthers get a very late night win in Vegas. So the Cats with a much needed win there. And then the Miami Hurricanes basketball team beat Stetson last night. Back-to-back 100-point efforts for the Canes, who have put together a nice team as well there. And they will go and see how good they are when they take on Florida on Sunday, the defending national champions. That game is at 8:30 on Sunday night from Jacksonville. So that'll be a good test for the Canes. Donno, speaking of the Canes, it's your bread and butter here, and I want to jump into this because this college football playoff, down the stretch here is going to be very interesting. Now, the Canes, we know, have the 2 ACC losses, Louisville and most recently SMU. Miami plays North Carolina State at home on Saturday at 3:30. They will play on the road at Virginia Tech, and then they will finish the season on the road at Pitt. Not an easy game, obviously. None of them, I think, are going to be easy the rest of the way here. Maybe Virginia Tech, not so great, but still, that is a tough place to play. It will be cold, all that good stuff. Does Miami have enough in front of them? Now, should they have to win all 3. That's the obvious part of this conversation, right? If they lose one, then this conversation kind of becomes moot anyway. But If they win the next 3, does the committee have enough to say that is a playoff team? Now, the other issue, Donno, and I think, we talked about this earlier, you got a group of 5 team that's not in the top 12 that is going to get in, right? Whether that be, South Florida or James Madison or someone is going to get in. The ACC champion will get in. The ACC champion is probably going to be ranked behind Miami. That's a possibility too. So that will steal another spot. So I'm guessing you have to be inside now the top 10. Is that pretty much what it's looking like?
Yeah. So here, the obvious part of it is I don't believe Miami controls their own destiny. I don't believe simply winning your final 3 games is enough. I think you're going to need some help with teams in front of you. And obviously there are, teams in front, and, the CFP rankings come out again tonight. So the ones that came out on Sunday were the new AP rankings. So the AP moved Miami up from number 18 to number 16. We don't know exactly what the CFP is going to do. They might do it exactly the same way. But what I'm going to be watching for on the CFP tonight is, what do they do with Louisville? Because Louisville dropped behind Miami on the AP, but how much is the committee going to value the head-to-head, right? And we all know the head-to-head that Miami has over Notre Dame was not enough for the committee to rank Miami in front of Notre Dame. Will they take the same approach with Louisville, despite Louisville's head-to-head over Miami? That's one of the things I'm anxious to find out. But regardless, I think Miami's going to move in front of Virginia, who's going to probably drop. So Miami's going to move up at least 1 spot, probably either 2 spots or 1 spot to 16 or 17 in the new CFP tonight. And then you're going to need, there are possibilities. Teams like Oklahoma ranked 12th, Texas ranked 11th to potentially lose another game down the stretch. BYU just lost to Texas Tech, but that was BYU's first loss. So I don't think they're going to drop far enough for Miami to surpass them at this point. And then you have to wonder what's going to happen, with Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame they play Pittsburgh this weekend. ND is favored to win. So I'm not expecting Pittsburgh to upset them, but Pittsburgh's not an easy out. So if Pitt were to beat Notre Dame and then Miami were to beat Pitt, I believe that would help Miami. Some people say, well, hey, you'd prefer Notre Dame to keep winning because then maybe eventually they'd give Miami the head-to-head edge, if Miami wins 3 more games. I'm not convinced with that. Bottom line is you need these teams that are ranked between 8, 12, 13 right now. You need some of these teams to lose a game if Miami's going to keep winning. The only thing Miami can control right now, and we all say, hey, you should have beaten SMU. I agree, they should have. But the only thing they still have. Yeah, right. We can't change it. So the only thing Miami can control is hopefully beating NC State on Senior Day this weekend, hopefully beating a not good Virginia Tech team on the road, and then beating a pretty good Pittsburgh team on the road. That's all they can control. And if they can do that, I think they've got a decent shot, Hollywood, because, again, a lot of these teams that are ranked in front of you still have tough games remaining on their schedules, like the SEC teams. So if you can, be in a position maybe to move in front of 3-loss SEC teams if you have 2 losses, there is still a chance.
So if Notre Dame were to get upset by Pitt, that obviously opens up a playoff spot right there, right? BYU is still in there, Donno. They lost and they lost big over the weekend, but they're still in there. You got a 2-loss Vanderbilt and this is just the AP poll right now. 2-loss Vanderbilt.
By the way, Vanderbilt almost lost last weekend. They were so close against Auburn. That would have really helped us.
A 2-loss Utah. And there's just a bunch of 2-loss teams that are sitting ahead of you right now. You got Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma. And I'm not so sure that Miami's schedule has been much easier than any of those teams, Donno. Like Texas, they opened up the season with a loss, and I don't know how good you think they are. I know they beat Oklahoma, and they're
I don't think Texas is very
right
good.
in there. But yeah, I mean, they got losses to Ohio State. They got a loss to Florida in there, and you want to hear these are their wins, Donno. Their wins are San Jose State, the Fighting Bow Campers, UTEP, Sam Houston, and then they have wins over Oklahoma, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt. So they still
one good. I mean, the Oklahoma win is the only really good win for them. The Vanderbilt, they're like the Cinderella of the SEC. That's not that great of a win. The Oklahoma win is a good win.
Yeah, so they have Georgia and Texas A&M still on the schedule. So there are going to be hopefully some losses in there.
They might lose both of those. They probably
very well may. So that could open up a playoff spot. Oklahoma's got Alabama coming up this weekend, so hopefully that will open up a playoff spot. Alabama seems like they're going to get in probably regardless at this point. So
right, and that's a great point, because there are certain teams like you actually, it's better if Alabama and like Georgia keep winning, because you're not going to pass those teams regardless. Like if either of those teams loses another game, there's no chance they drop below Miami. So you want those teams to keep winning. You want the teams that are on the fringe of the top 12 to lose to them.
You got a good so I don't know if Notre Dame's got any sort of a shot against Pitt, and I know their coach came out and said like it doesn't even matter. We just got to win the ACC. Pitt coach Narduzzi there, but you got 9, 10, and 11 have some tough matchups coming up here, Donno, and then certainly 10 and 11 in Texas and Oklahoma. So you should be able to jump those two programs. But I think you're right. I think anyone with one loss that's ahead of you right now is going to be very, very difficult to jump. You also, here's the other thing. Do you penalize a team that loses in a conference championship game while a team like Miami's just kind of sitting there? That might be another issue that they look at.
I mean, they didn't last year, but it kind of worked out last year where they didn't have to. Like, you know, like a big one, some people thought SMU shouldn't have made the playoff because they lost the conference championship game, but SMU was 11-1 before the conference championship game. So it made sense to keep them in there. But I think every year is different, because they like, what happens if Duke gets to the ACC championship game and they've got, you know, 3 non-conference losses? They would be 8-4. Like if Duke loses the ACC championship game, there's no argument to put them in the playoffs. So they're like, the situation could be different this year. And also like the situation could be different for Miami than it was last year. And again, like I'm not guaranteeing Miami wins out. Like I'm still looking at, hey, you've got some tough games left on the schedule. So I'm not guaranteeing Miami wins out. But Hollywood, I will say that if Miami does win out, they're going to have a better resume, I think, than they did a year ago, because a year ago they didn't beat a single ranked team, at least not at the time that any of those teams were ranked. They've already got 3 ranked wins right now. So I do think Miami is going to have, relatively speaking, if they do go 10-2, a slightly better case than they had last year. But again, it's so much about what else happens around the country. So they're still going to need some help. But I know last year we were in a situation where 10-2, it just wasn't, you know, good enough in the eyes of the committee, no ranked wins and all that. Like I think we're going to have could have a stronger resume at the end of this year than we had last year.
Yeah, so we'll see how the chips fall. We're going to be doing a lot of we talked about this earlier, Don, a little hate watching, right, where you rooting for teams to lose. But we got to start doing that in college football here, and hope some of these teams in front of Miami can start to fall. I also happen to think the ACC is better than they get credit for. Right? I think it's a tougher league than they get credit. Like everyone's just like Big Ten, SEC, you know, by far the best. I think the ACC has been a very competitive league this year, and I know that you do the Locked On ACC podcast as well, so you follow the league as closely as anyone. I that's just my opinion. I think the league is actually pretty tough this year. I don't know what you think.
Well, the problem is, like, it's all about outside perception. The outside perception of the ACC, they are so, and I think a big part of it. And listen, I'm not like, if we got any Florida State fans listening to this, I'm not directly ripping you guys for this, but the fact that the ACC was getting sued last year by 2 of their own members, I think didn't help their perception as a league when your own members are saying like this is a Mickey Mouse conference and stuff. So what ends up happening from the outside looking in, I mean, Hollywood, if like a low tier SEC team, you know, if like Kentucky or like, I guess Vanderbilt isn't even low tier anymore, but it used to be like when Kentucky or Vanderbilt beat somebody, oh my God, this is amazing. Anything can happen in the SEC. It just means more. Yeah. Where in the ACC, if Wake Forest upsets somebody, oh, that conference is cooked. They're terrible. Like that's just the perception. I mean, anytime you have conference play, you're going to have a certain amount of parity because these teams see each other every single year. Conference play is like a Super Bowl for these teams, especially when when you go up against the Miamis and the Clemsons and the Florida States. All these teams, they approach it like it's their Super Bowl. And late in the year, you're going to have some of these shocking upsets. It happens in every conference, but in every other conference when it happens, this is amazing. College football is the best. When it happens in the ACC, oh, it's a terrible league. You can't trust anybody. So the perception goes a long way. I'm not saying the ACC is having a great year, because the ACC, I think this season, they have lost to more non-Power 4 teams out of conference than any other conference has this year. I mean, our guy Manny Diaz just lost to UConn, and he lost to Tulane earlier this year. So you've had some of these, like, outside Power 4 upsets, but still, the ACC is a tougher conference than the outsiders give it credit for.
And I do think that it hurts, right, that your flagship programs, you have 3 of them in this conference, right, football-wise. 2 of them are down in the dumps, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was I think I saw Brett McMurphy sent out a tweet that over the last 2 years, UConn has 3 wins over the ACC and FSU has 2.
Oh my gosh. And it's a mess there, like in Tallahassee, because like
anybody
knows, like, yeah, well, like anybody knows that, like, you can't keep going with Mike Norvell, but the problem was 2 off seasons ago, when his super agent Jimmy Sexton was able to link all of his clients, Norvell included, to that open Alabama job, got him the huge raise where the buyout is like north of $54 million. So they may end up firing him, but it's not an easy decision to make when you're going to owe the guy and his staff that much money. So it's a mess there. And then Clemson is a unique mess, Hollywood, because from what I understand, talking to some people who cover Clemson, who's obviously having a down year, it's not up to the standard that Dabo Swinney created, where like they can't fire Dabo because he built that program. Like the standard is so high because of what Dabo Swinney created. But I think the decision makers there, the administrative folks and whoever the chancellor, athletic director, are going to have a sit down with Dabo at the end of the year and say, like, hey, like, obviously we want to keep moving forward with you. You created this program, but we need you to embrace modern college football. Like we need you to start actually using the NIL resources that we have and using the transfer portal, because that's in a situation where, like, I don't think Dabo is fireable because of all he did for that program, but they're going to need him to evolve. Otherwise, Clemson's going to turn into a perennial 7-5 type of program, because that's what they're looking like right now.
Yeah, it's adapt or die, right? And
yeah.
I think you were sitting next to me. We sat across from Dabo at the ACC kickoff, and he's just like, I run it my way, and I'm going high school recruiting, and we don't use the transfer portal. And they brought in like 3 guys over 3 years or something.
And 3 guys for them was like 3 more than they'd ever brought in a portal.
Yeah. So that he's like, I'm going to run it my way. And it's like, well, it just doesn't work that way anymore. And we're seeing a lot of great coaches that just don't want to do it anymore, because the system is just not, it's not the kind of system where you can bring guys in when they're young and teach them and, develop them through your system and all that stuff. And look, I think that hurts the product, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And you just got to keep rolling with it, because we don't have very many rules. And we're just kind of making things up as we go here in this new world of NIL. A lot more to get to here as we continue on with the show. Donno is kind enough to be with us here this week. Joe is in Spain, and if Joe knows how to use his phone, we'll track him down at some point here this morning. I don't know if he got any sleep or what, but we'll see if we can find Joe as we continue on here on this cool Tuesday morning here in South Florida.
All right, hey man, it's Truck Month.
country here, and Donno. I did not realize this today, but I think we're like the only people working in the building. I saw Kenny Walker's running around here, but it looks like it's quiet around here. School's out, by the way. There's no school today.
For some reason, my kid has school. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Well, mine is off, so I could go home and find something to do here today on this Tuesday. Maybe something outdoors, man. It is beautiful outside. I love this cold weather. Very nice change here. Feels like you walk out, like I walked out of the Watsco Center last night. You're like, college basketball is in the air, man. It's starting to get cool outside. So
I start to feel like it's Christmas. Like when I feel this weather, I don't know. I start to get that holiday cheer. It's building up in me.
I don't know what your Christmas tree situation is, but mine is up in my home
already.
Right after what? What am I thinking? What holiday just ended? Halloween. Man,
are you okay?
Yeah, I'm losing it. So right after, I got the tree because I got this tree for them from Home Depot. It's some special Christmas tree that they say sells out every year. I don't know. I did some research on it. Anyway, so after Halloween, they were like, it's just sitting in a giant box in our living room, and they got after it and they put this thing up. So it's sitting in my living room now.
So it's an artificial tree, right?
Oh yeah.
Those are the way to go.
Real trees are very difficult to maintain. I'm also, I'm kind of all for if they, look good as a fake tree, like, no need to chop them down, right? But yeah, man, we got that thing up in the house. You're not putting yours up to what, after Thanksgiving? Is that the traditional deal here?
Yeah, that's my wife's rule. She I'm not like a big Thanksgiving guy. Like it's fine, but I don't see any reason why we can't start like putting Christmas decorations up. But my wife, like she appreciates Thanksgiving to the point where she wants it to be its own thing, and then you don't start putting the Christmas stuff up until after.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is kind of overrated, right? Like
it's like a throw-in holiday.
It is a throw-in holiday, and you eat turkey, which is like, do you ever eat turkey?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like dismantle it. Like I don't eat that much, but there's usually, but the thing is like, so my father always cooks for Thanksgiving, and there's usually a variety. Like he'll also do like a roasted pork, like a bunch of, like he'll do some pasta dishes usually to go with the traditional sides. Like I am a fan of like stuffing is my favorite traditional, but there's usually enough other stuff to eat at like my family's Thanksgiving spread where I don't have to eat more than like a little bit of turkey. Like it's just like, I respect the holiday enough that I'll eat a couple bites of turkey, but then I'll go crazy on everything else.
Yeah. So I'm going to be with the basketball team. Josie's going to Pittsburgh for the last game of the season.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Orlando, and the team's playing at the Wide World of Sports. They're playing on Thanksgiving Day at Disney, 5:00. Yeah. And then the Friday after Thanksgiving, the game will be at either 7 or 9:30 in the evening. And try to do the pregame show from maybe somewhere in at the Mouse House over there. So we'll see, Donno. By the way, busy time of year to go to Orlando, apparently. Theme parks are not.
Everybody's. I mean, any holiday weekend. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to.
I don't know if people are spending this kind of money, but I looked at Universal tickets and they wanted $300 per person per day for a fast pass.
Oh my God!
I can only imagine what the lines are like if you don't get one of those. We're not going to do it this time around, but that just seemed a little on the expensive side to me.
I mean, I guess people are spending it because they raise the prices every year. This Disney and Universal
raise the prices every year.
Well, and I feel like with Disney, with what they're going through with the whole YouTube TV thing, like they're losing a bunch of money not being on YouTube TV. They're just going to raise the theme park prices, and they'll make up for it because the Disney people will pay any price to go. Like they could charge. They could charge you like a Range Rover price, and the people will find a way to budget for that. They will find a way.
Or they'll just take out a credit card and charge it up. But now you've been on the forefront of this YouTube ESPN thing, right? You've been hit hard by this, correct?
Yeah, because I'm a YouTube TV subscriber. Yeah, like, and listen, I'm upset at everybody, and I think it's funny how, because every time I tweet about it, I get these very angry comments, and I'm like, you guys really think I care enough that I'm going to be triggered by your comment? Because everybody's on a team, and a lot of people are like, very anti-Disney because they don't like whatever the company stands for. I don't fully. There's a lot of people who are very anti-Disney.
Yes.
So it's like, but the thing is, like, I'm mad at everybody. Like, I'm mad at, YouTube is owned by Google. I'm mad at them. I'm mad at Disney because obviously both sides are having difficulty negotiating. And the bottom line is, I'm angry because the service that I pay like $90 a month for, which I primarily use to watch sports, I want to be able to watch sports. Like, I want to be able to watch college football and Monday Night Football and everything. So I've been very angry about it. So every time I tweet about it, I get all these replies from people that are like, well, why are you supporting Disney? Why are you complaining about YouTube? It's Disney's fault. And I'm like, I don't care whose fault it is. I just want to be able to watch my freaking ESPN. So I've had to, and the other part of it is Hollywood. I subscribe to the NFL Sunday Ticket, which is only available on YouTube TV. And I did it my YouTube TV subscription has to be active to access the Sunday NFL Ticket. Like, I didn't do it where it's like two separate services. I did it so they're part of the same. So I can't cancel. If I cancel my YouTube TV, I was notified that I will no longer be able to access the NFL Sunday Ticket, but I will not get a rebate for the games that I already paid for. So, in other words, I have to keep my YouTube TV subscription active for at least until the end of the NFL regular season. Wow. I can't cancel it. And then I also, because I got to be able to watch, all Miami games, all ACC games are on ESPN channels. I had to go and subscribe to the ESPN Disney bundle that's got because I actually already had Disney Plus, so I made the bundle with the Disney Plus, the Hulu, and the ESPN. So bottom line is, I'm paying probably like $200 a month to watch all this stuff, but it is what it is, man.
And so walk me through this one more time. So if you call to cancel, you just can't do that. That's not something that you can do at this point, or
So listen, like, I could cancel YouTube TV. But the problem is they have me as a hostage because I at the beginning of the NFL season, and I primarily did this for my son because he's a Cam Ward fanboy and he wanted to be able to watch all the Tennessee Titans games, which are not available, in Florida to regular people. You have to get the Sunday Ticket. So I've got the Sunday Ticket that's part of my YouTube TV subscription, but I already prepaid the whole season for Sunday Ticket. So I was told that if I cancel my YouTube TV subscription, and I was actually willing to cancel the Sunday Ticket. Like, I'm like, college football is more important to me. So yeah, I'll cancel the Sunday Ticket. But they told me, well, yeah, you can cancel it, but we're not going to give you the money back from what you already paid for the whole season. Right. Which, so so the person who said the fine print, obviously I didn't read the fine print. Like, have you ever signed up for a streaming service with a lawyer present? Like, that's what I'm going to have to start doing. I'm going to have an attorney read the contract for me before I get a new streaming service, apparently.
I don't read any of those things. I usually just sign.
Nobody does.
I don't think anyone does. But the other thing, too, is like even if you would have read them, Donno, it's not like you would have thought that they were going to get into a fight with ESPN.
Right. I never would have thought. All I knew was by prepaying the whole season of NFL Sunday Ticket, I was saving like $50 versus paying it, month to month. That's all I cared about at that time.
You're right, though, man. Like, it sucks. Like, they should just, while they negotiate or whatever it is they're doing, like, just at least put the channels back on. Let people watch what they're paying for. Like, what a screw job that thing is. But man, it's tough out there in that streaming and cable world. A lot of competitors out there, apparently.
No, I miss regular cable because it was like four years ago when I
just
switched
turn the
from
TV on and put on a game and not have to look at 8 different apps.
Well, and listen, like 4 years ago when I switched, it made I was using, I guess, DirecTV at the time, and I was able to switch. At that point, YouTube TV was very cheap. Right. It's like doubled in price since then. It was like under $50 a month. I was getting like the same channels that I was paying double for on DirecTV. So I switched. It was like the greatest decision ever. But then every year the rates have gone up. YouTube TV is like $90 a month now, and I can't watch any ESPN channels. It's like I wish I had stayed with DirecTV or Comcast.
Well, it's hopefully that gets resolved here soon enough, so we can get Donno his college football back. This is a very.
No, I've got it back. I'm just paying an arm and a leg for it. I do the ESPN Unlimited thing now. I'm paying like my basically every time I get paid a salary for my 100 different jobs, I just send it right to Mickey Mouse. That's where it goes.
My goodness. All right. We got a lot more to get to here as we roll on here. A bunch of texts coming in here. I do want to get to some of these. I like this one. Typical homer. Hollywood, the ACC shouldn't even get a playoff team. Sure. Yeah, that makes me a homer, Donno, because
Can I
feel
say real
like,
quick that there is a scenario where the ACC doesn't get a playoff team.
Is there really?
It's not 100%, but because you don't like none of the conferences are guaranteed a bid. It's the 5 highest ranked conference champions.
Mm-hmm.
If Duke with 4 losses wins the ACC and they're ranked behind JMU and USF, the ACC could theoretically get left without a bid.
Really?
They could. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's very interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was like an auto bid there. I did not know that. Very interesting. Donno dropping knowledge on us here. We got more to get to here as we continue on. A lot of winning last night here in South Florida. And Don, I don't know if you caught this. There's another little gambling scandal that kind of flew under the radar just a little bit here. We can't escape these, man. Can't escape these. But we'll talk about that a little bit when we come back here on QIM.
Tell you about Atlantic.
in Spain for the Dolphins and Commanders. And we got Canes and Wolfpack coming up on Saturday. Everyone won last night. The Heat, Panthers, and Canes Hoops, all winners, Donno. So it was a big evening of winning. We got a lot of ways you can jump in here. 305-567-0560 is how you text us. We got the YouTube stream going, 104.3 WQAM on YouTube. We have a chat going on there as well. I have been alerted here, by the way, Donno, that we have some nastiness going on in the chat here.
Really?
And, to those two gentlemen, we do not want to have to block anyone from the chat, but we are going to keep it a sports conversation and a respectful conversation. If you would like to direct anything vicious towards myself, Donno, Dan Day, Jamie, anyone, you can send that directly to us at 305-567-0560. Please do not fight amongst each other unless it is a sports-related debate. But
yeah, people are like arguing over like countries and stuff. Like,
yeah, we're not going to do that.
It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It's not a political forum. If you know anything about this show, we steer so far away from politics and all that other stuff because we would like to just, we don't want to be taken too seriously. That's one thing. And the other
also
is,
this is the
let's have some
escape,
fun, man. Yeah, this is the escape from all the crap. There's a lot of crap that's going on out there. So everyone just be respectful to one another. You can be vicious if it's a sports-related argument, but just, again, if you have any like horrible political stuff you want to get off your chest, just text us directly, and we'll take that. We'll put it into our column of mean, depressing texts that we get on a daily basis, Donno. All right, getting back. Speaking of depressing, getting back to this. Did you catch this this baseball gambling story? We had
a couple pitchers have been indicted.
Another situation has popped up, and these are never good. But Dan, do we have this? This is from Wilbon and Kornheiser. I think this is not an interest. I don't like this take particularly, but here's let's play this, and then Donna, we'll let everyone know what we think about this. But here's from Pardon the Interruption.
I don't think either of them is ever going to pitch in the major leagues again. Wow. And I think that Rob Manfred has to come out and he has to say, this is what we are doing to prevent this from happening in the future. Because, Mike, these prop bets, they are the poison apple. They are.
They are, Tony. And there's now this effort to limit a small element of the prop bets. But going back to what does it say to you? I'm not going to disagree with anything you said. And if guilty, and there's punishment, so be it. I mean, you know the rules. It's explained over and over to you.
You're defrauding the game.
Yes. And you know what, Tone? I don't care.
Really?
Because at the highest levels of pyramids in this country, in this culture, everybody's betting now. It's on every phone except yours and mine.
But don't you want it to be honest? Don't you want it to be honest?
Does that affect the game? Does it tilt it in any way that matters to me?
I know what you're going to say, that it's very small and it's not throwing the game.
Right.
But the more these things happen, it's
I can't even disagree with that. There's a slippery slope. There's a slippery slope.
All right, so that was Wilbon and Kornheiser, and
so is Wilbon saying it's not a big deal because it doesn't affect the outcome? Dude, that's absurd.
I think what he's saying everyone's gambling, so it is what it is, right? And it's just like, and I think the best reaction, the best response that I saw to this, Donno, and this is where I stand on this thing, and I saw Mike Florio from the Pro Football Talk account. He tweeted out, everyone has a car. Does that mean they can do whatever they want? Can they drive recklessly? Can they drink and drive? All that stuff, right? Yeah. I am so getting very, very sick and tired, Donno, of people blaming these websites and blaming gambling for people.
Oh, I'm with you on that. No, it's ridiculous.
I'm really getting frustrated with this because there's a couple of parts to this, right? And I was talking about this with Joe last week. Jason Robbins, who's the CEO of DraftKings. I was watching some of his stuff on the Financial Channel, one of those CNBC or something or other. I like to be well-rounded, Donno. So I was watching the Financial Channel. Because like when Omar gives his stock tips and says AI is good, I like to know what I'm talking about. But anyway, like he made a great point. The more that we have things like DraftKings, like Hard Rock Bet, like all these sites that can regulate and that have to report these things immediately, the better off we are. right? If you go back to where people are betting through bookies and they're betting on these offshore websites and such, like if you shave points, you fix a game, whatever, and you got people betting overseas on it, they don't have to they don't have to report any of that stuff. And why?
And no one's ever
going to know. An illegal operation to begin with.
Right.
So the more things are legal and regulated, the more that they are going to be able to catch things like this. But to say that just because it exists and because people are doing it, like whatever, how could someone that works at a network like that have that kind of ridiculous take on something like that? And you could say that again, you could say that about anything, Donno.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that are legal that might not be great for society, right?
Sure.
But whether you think gambling is good, bad, or in between, the fact that it's out there does not make it okay to go out and shave points.
No. Well, and you made a great point when you talk. So these sites, the ones that are actually legal and run properly, like they report betting irregularities. And in fact, the people who are getting caught now are getting caught because these sites are reporting on it. And like, we're not stupid. Like, gambling on sports has existed for as long as there have been sports. Now, a lot less people were involved in it, but a lot more shady people were involved in it, right? So you talk about, manipulation of games, throwing games, point shaving. That's been going on for longer and probably more than people even care to recognize or talk about. At least in this day and age, you have the opportunity for stuff like this to get reported, to come out in the open, because what's going on in the NBA and what's going on now in Major League Baseball would have never come to light if not for the fact that these sites are reporting irregularities. Like, we would have never known that these that these Guardians pitchers are allegedly, throwing certain types of pitches to fulfill prop bets, which is fraud. Like, they're manipulating it. It's not cool. But stuff like this has been going on forever, but it's coming to light a lot more often. And it's actually, the sun is now shining on the shady part of sports at this point.
Yeah, and you know what? It's time to make an example out of people. And sadly, I think Terry Rozier is going to be the guy if he is found to have done what he is accused of doing. Now,
just give us our draft pick back, and you could do whatever you want to with Terry.
But look, Terry gets his day in court, obviously, and he should be, fight this thing if he didn't do what they're accusing him of doing. But, man, they are going to make examples of these guys. And I think it's great that it's out there in the light and we're dealing with it. But to like have this like, gambling is out there now, and that's why this is happening. It's such a lazy and just like uneducated argument to keep making, especially for a company like ESPN, when these guys are making these big fat ass salaries, to go on these shows, and you're in bed with a lot of these companies. Okay.
How about Stephen A. Smith's little solitaire app that, apparently was
they were
bots pretending to be people.
Yeah. At least there's a little integrity on those gambling betting sites. Now some of these games, Donno, the officiating is a little questionable here and there, but
listen, man, when the Tim Donaghy scandal happened a long time before betting was legal and accepted in sports like that. So you can't tell me this is a new thing now. I mean, that happened, late 90s, early 2000s. FanDuel and all these other companies being all over these games was not a thing back then.
By the way, if I had a hot tip or someone was feeding me info and I knew that, I was going to be putting 100 or 200 grand on a prop bet, I could probably afford the flight to Vegas.
To
put the bet in. Right. If I needed to, if I really needed to. So I hate this thing about, this argument towards it. I don't know how much you use it, Donno, but I happen to love the Hard Rock app. I use it as a form of entertainment. I understand that people get addicted to it, but people get addicted to all sorts of things.
And if you saw my win-loss record on there, you will know I am not manipulating anything because I'm giving a lot of money to that app.
I took them down the other day. I told Monroe this, who works over there. I took them down pretty good, Donno. They had one of these, they list like, some prop bets on the top there that like parlays that you can do. They had this one that had like 3 guys scoring the first touchdown in a game. And I bet $1 to win like $130, and that thing hit. And I put a big dent
Yes.
in that
Let's
casino,
go.
man. I
You
took
took
them
them down.
I took them down. It's all part of the plan. All right, we got to take a pause. That gambling stuff just really grinds my gears, man, because it's like, what do you want to ban it? Is that what you want to do? Because guys,
Well, the thing is, like, no, they're making so much money off of that. You're not putting that genie back in the bottle. Yeah. Sorry, it's here to stay.
I think you're right with me. It's the complete opposite of that. It's the more we get it out there, the more we regulate, the more we 100%. Police it, the better this whole system is.
Well, the thing is, like the way the data, and I'm sure they use like AI to see these data trends with the irregularities. Like the technology is getting to a point where it is becoming harder and harder to cheat the system without getting exposed. And I think it's moving in that direction. And yeah, you're going to have more people exposed because you wouldn't have like 5 years ago without the technology, you wouldn't have realized how much of this shady crap was going on. Now it's coming to light.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shady crap, we're going to get to the 9 o'clock hour here, Donno. That's coming up next on QAM.
I want to tell you about
get that. I'm with you on that. And I guess the response to that would be, we don't ban everything else that people are addicted to, right? I mean, you do the best you can to regulate, right, and to try to help people out, but we don't ban everything that people are addicted to. So, quite simply put, I just, you know what I mean, like, to ban gambling because people get addicted to it. Again, people are going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
Especially
now, like you can't have it like pretty much fully legal for a handful of years and be like, just kid. I mean, how did that work for prohibition? 100 years ago.
Alcohol's
were bootlegging.
And someone said like they said they put ads up nonstop and it's predatory and all the ads, and there are a lot of ads for it. And I get that they even tie it into the games now. But guys, every thing is sponsored by a beer company, right? I mean, everything is a beer or a liquor or whatever. Like we're not gonna ban that.
I'm addicted to pizza, and they run a lot of pizza.
That's
commercials.
That's true. I like that Bradley Cooper commercial for Uber Eats. Have you seen those? Where they go, it's football's just a ploy to sell you food. I do like those.
And it's kind of true because it like 80% of the ads are food, and then like 10% is beer, and then 10% is gambling.
Yeah. Dolphin Don said, I think I may be addicted to tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. And Taco Tuesday is always fun. I might hit Tijuana Flats. There's one right across from my house now, so I might hit that for a little Taco Tuesday action. Spot. Yeah, you get like 2 tacos and chips for like $6. Can't beat that, right? So I may hit that. That might be dinner today, though. I might have a little Flanagan's lunch today. That might be on the docket as well. Here, we'll see. But it is what it is. Someone said FanDuel predatory operation. Watch 60 Minutes. Everything's predatory, guys. I hate to break that to you. And someone said social media is worse than gambling. I completely agree with you.
Yeah,
I
same.
Completely agree. Anyway, that's where we stand on the gambling front, Donno, and we'll get back to what we've been talking about here, and that is the winning that is going on in our town as the Heat put together quite a performance last night and get a last-second win over the Cavs as Miami. 3 games over 500 now, unbeaten at home. Nice start to the season for them. The Panthers got a late-night win for all of our night owls there in Vegas. And Canes Hoops, they're 3-0 to start the season. They get another win last night over Stetson. They put together a nice team over there, Donno. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing over there. They have a fun brand of basketball, and we shall see how good they are when they head to Jacksonville on Sunday night to take on the defending champion Florida Gators. I don't like saying that, Donno, but
I don't either. And that's going to be a great barometer measuring stick, as you put it earlier. But it's like all Miami has done so far, especially in these last 2 games where the offense has gotten loose. They are taking care of business. And also the Bethune-Cookman win, their second win, that was a team that took 20th ranked Auburn to overtime earlier, 1 game before they played Miami, and Miami beat them by a 40 burger. So that this team is on to something. Again, I'm not guaranteeing they beat Florida. I'd love to see it. That's going to be a great measuring stick so far, but it's a completely different roster from last year. You got the freshmen playing well. Henderson, Dante Allen, Malik Renault, the transfer, is an absolute beast. The Indiana transfer. This team to me is really exciting, and I think Jay Lucas, he is on to something. I think he's the perfect coach for the modern brand of college basketball, right? All the reasons why Jim Larinaga, who's a legend, wanted to give it up. These are the things that Jay Lucas embraces.
Funny enough, Donno, I actually had Coach L on as my halftime guest last night.
Awesome.
It is crazy, man. So he sits on the court. He has courtside seats, as he should, right across from us. So I'm used to Coach L sitting on the, we sit right next to the bench. I sit next to Josie, and then Steph, our engineer, or JB, whoever's with us that night, sits, to my right. And Coach L used to sit right on that table. They had the big, the cushion thing, and he would sit right in front of Joe and I and block out the basket and all that, so we never see what's going on. But he would sit there, and now he's sitting on the other side across, and we got Jay Lucas sitting, and he stands, he moves, he's mobile.
Yeah.
On the sidelines there. He's up and down, and he's telling his team to run. But I am a huge fan of Jay and Coach Lucas. I've had a chance to talk to him a bunch now, and I love the energy and everything that he brings to the table and to the program. And I think he's going to be very, very successful here. And I think what he had to do this year is utterly insane. To build a team without a single returner, that is not an easy thing to do. And you're right, by the way, he does have a nice mix of youth and experience on this team. And you mentioned Sheldon Henderson, Donno. I don't know if you had a chance to see him in person. That is a large freshman. That is a very, very large.
I haven't seen him up close yet. No.
Yeah, Miami's got some serious height and size, and that's their identity. They are going to be a team that just kind of bullies you around, and they also got some athletes that will run up and down the floor too. So I think if you get out to the Watsco Center this year, you're going to be very pleasantly surprised with what Coach Lucas has put together. But I did have Coach L on last night, and he basically laid it out there, and he's told us this before, but when you have a system that you have now where you don't get to bring players in early and work with them and teach it. Coach L's a teacher, right? That's what he wants. He's actually teaching at the University of Miami right now.
Awesome.
That's his style, and I will tell you, Donno, I was lucky enough to get to travel with them a bunch of times while he was the head coach, and he would let me sit in on those meetings that they do and the game planning and all that stuff. And I tried to soak up every second of that stuff because I have never been around someone with more basketball knowledge than Jim Larinaga. Just
and the memory on him. Yeah, like I've been, I've had the chance to interview him a few times, but like hearing him do I don't know, dozens, if not hundreds of interviews over the years where he was coaching Miami, the encyclopedic memory that Coach L has for stuff that was he goes way back, obviously, like the 50s and 60s, and he'll remember specific plays that were drawn up in the late 60s and which coach was doing that. I mean, just the amount of basketball knowledge in that man's head and him able to keep them sorted out within that brain of his is remarkable to me.
Yeah, I asked him. I said, you keeping in touch with any of the guys? And he just went, on a list of this guy's here and this guy's here and this guy's here. And yeah, I fly out here, and so his son's with the Clippers, so he's got the NBA stuff too. And he brought up Keyshawn George, who is playing well right now for the Wizards, and so a lot of guys that he keeps in touch with. But Canes basketball holds a special place in my heart, Donno. It kind of always will. I always remember going to the games as a kid at the Miami Arena. I lived in Kendall, so we used to take the train over there. Remember, we used to drop you right at the steps of the old Miami Arena.
Remember that, the monorail? And
very
it
convenient.
used to take you right there.
Yeah, so we used to go to the Canes games at the Miami Arena. And to think that I got a chance, I was very, very fortunate. Got a chance to Josie let me, tag along with him at the Final Four, and got a chance to sit down there and watch the Canes play. And the Final Four was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff to go from the Miami Arena to the Final Four. But Coach L did that, man. Coach L, the architect of the program, and now Jay Lucas is driving this thing. But and by the way, Donno, I don't know if you've been to a Final Four as far as sporting events go. Definitely one of my favorites, if not my favorite. That was really, really cool to see 70,000 people in a football stadium watching a basketball game. Some bad seats in there, I will tell you. There's some rough seats in those buildings for basketball.
You're basically watching on the monitor then.
Yeah, you got to be a real fan to sit in those uppers. Yeah. But the Final Four was so cool. And I also didn't know this about the Final Four, but they turned the entire city. It's like a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So they took over the convention center, and they had a big, NFL experience type thing. Remember they had down here at the convention center for the Super Bowl. Sure. They had that at the Houston. It was in Houston when we went. They had the Houston Convention Center, had all that stuff. So it's just a fantastic event. If you ever get a chance to go to the Final Four, I would certainly recommend it. All right, we do have some texts coming in here. Someone says I'm addicted to the Dolphins season ticket holder. Much more frustrating than losing my home. Yeah, hey man, we're all in the same boat with the Dolphins. The Dolphins are the funniest thing, Donno. Everyone wants the same thing, right? Everybody wants the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl and have a parade from Jupiter or wherever, all the way down to Key West, right?
It's been so long, we don't even know what the parade route would be is part of the problem. Like when the Heat win a championship, when the Heat win, when the Panthers win, we know exactly what the parade route is. For the Dolphins, we don't even know.
I think there'd be a tri-county parade for the Dolphins should they ever win a Super Bowl. But it's funny because we all want the same thing. Everybody wants the Dolphins to win a Super Bowl. We just all seem to have very differing ideas on how to get there. And unfortunately, right now, what we have going on is not working. And everyone has a different opinion on what is wrong and what is not working. And, whether it starts with the quarterback or it starts with the coach or it starts with the GM, there's a lot of, differing schools of thought here. I personally happen to be in the school that, Donno, you need a quarterback in the AFC, especially, that can compete with the other quarterbacks in the AFC. And, you're going against Lamar and Mahomes and Allen and Burrow. And who else am I missing here? I've the conference is just, loaded up with top tier quarterbacks. And I just feel like you need somebody that can compete at that level. And I don't know that Tua has that.
Yeah, I think Tua has physical limitations that go along with consistency limitations. And I think part of the reason why Dolphin fans get so perplexed about the Tua thing and why there are so many Tua debates are, there have been a bunch of games the last 6 years where Tua looks like a franchise elite quarterback. And then the Tua stands or Tua non get behind that. See, this guy is just as good as any other great quarterback in the league. It's the team that lets him down. But then there are other games where Tua looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Yeah. And then the Tua haters will cling to that. That defines who he is. But at the end of the day, I think you have to have consistency and also, the ability. I think the ability to run and the mobility, the improvisation, which, partially Tua doesn't have some of that athletically, but then there are also the concerns about if you let him move too much, he's back in concussion protocol, with the past issues that he's had, which I do think limit him, but he's been inconsistent. The Tua defenders will say, well, he's been inconsistent because, he hasn't been blocked for, and look at the terrible, GM that they've had over the years. I mean, I just think, to me, after 6 years, I feel like I know who Tua is and I know his limitations. I think he can be a pretty good quarterback, but I don't put him with, you mentioned those names, I don't put him with the elites in the AFC. I also don't think your head coach is consistent enough. I think he's a good play designer. He's a good offensive mind. Some days he's a good play caller. A lot of days he's not. But I don't think he's a good head coach. So where I'm at on this is you've already fired the GM. I would like to see the next general manager be part of a complete house cleaning. I would like to see that GM have the opportunity to hire his best option at head coach. And then I would also like to see that GM, because I think it's fair. Any GM in the NFL is going to get tied to their quarterback, good or bad. How unfair is it to bring in a new general manager and tell him, oh, new GM, great, you're going to be able to pick your own players, except the quarterback, hands off. You're stuck with Tua for another 5-6 years, whatever. Like, to me, your next GM should be able to be given the freedom and the autonomy to build the team in his own image. So that's what I'm looking for.
This has happened twice now with the Dolphins. Remember, Adam came in and was like, I can work with Tannehill. We can get this done. And that didn't work. And now Mike has come in with Tua and by the way, done an incredible job. I mean, the job that he's done with the rehab job with Tua is unbelievable, to be quite honest. But Donno, the question is this. And if you're not playing for a Super Bowl, what are you playing for, right? Like, that should be your goal every year. And I get the Dolphins have won a playoff game in 25 years, and that's goal number one. But can you sit here today and realistically tell me that with that guy as your franchise quarterback, you're going to be able to make a run? Let's say you got to go through Baltimore, you got to go through Buffalo, you got to go through KC, maybe
everything
Denver.
else has got to be like the bottom line,
and
like
Philly or whoever in the Super Bowl. Like, that's who you have to go through.
Right.
Can you realistically tell me that guy is going to lead that charge?
you can win a Super Bowl with Tua, but everything else has to be just about perfect, right? Which is not,
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Patrick Mahomes can win a Super Bowl with other limitations that he covers up, right? Yeah,
But it's
I'm not
never
going to say
going to
Josh
be
Allen because he
perfect,
hasn't done it, but you understand where I'm going. Like, you can win a Super Bowl with Tua, but the rest of the roster has to be perfect, and I don't know if it ever will be.
Reminds me of the 49ers, right? The 49ers been able to get into the Super Bowl a few times with very mediocre quarterbacks.
Yeah,
what happens in the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
they fall short. They fall short to these guys. So, and Philly wins it last year. I think Jalen Hurts a whole heck of a lot better than people give him credit for.
Yeah, so do
I really do. I think he's a lot better than people think, but whatever. But as far as the AFC goes, you have to be able to compete with those top tier guys. And I just don't think that you have the guy that is capable of doing that. All right, we're going to take a pause here. We got a lot more to get to. A lot of winning last night here, Don. I want to keep it positive. We got a lot of winning here last night in South Florida, and it is Veterans Day. So again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all of our men and women who serve our fine country here. We will take a pause. More to come on this Tuesday morning on QAM.
Right
nothing and everything.
Here on QAM, Dan Day is playing the hits this morning. A little Green Day, old Green Day there. I saw them when I was in college, Dan. They did a show at the Sun Dome there in Tampa. A chance to see Green Day. You ever seen them?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, Dan hits it. Dan's a big concert guy.
I saw them in college as well. They did a show at the Watsco Center when I was at
Really?
Miami. Yeah.
You and I are the same age, Donno, so maybe it was the same tour there. Maybe we overlapped.
Yeah.
The
Green Day college tour.
Yeah. Speaking of such, we got a text from our friend in the 814 here. He says you guys would have loved the Dolphins of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're on a roll those years. Danny was a one-man show. It's funny, Donno. I was in college when I saw Green Day. I was in high school when the Dolphins won their playoff game, and I remember going to it. I was there with my dad. We sat in the upper end zone and saw Lamar Smith. Right, it was Lamar Smith who scored the game winner in overtime. It's been a while, just to put it lightly. So I was I want to say a sophomore in high school when that happened. I am going to be 40 next month, and I have 2 children. So it's been a minute since that team has won anything of any.
Yeah, I'm 41. I was also in high school when that last playoff win happened.
So like, if people wonder, I don't know what ages everyone is that text in or whatever, but if you're wondering why we sound frustrated at times, it's been a long time. It has been a long, long, long time. That's a lifetime, essentially. Right?
That's
more than half my life.
That's over half your life, yeah. So over half of our lives since they won a playoff game.
So if you're a Dolphin fan and you're like 30 years old, you don't even remember them winning a playoff game.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which almost makes me like I'm glad the Dolphin fans still exist, like the younger generation, because I don't want like our kids to be soft and like gravitate towards whoever's good. Like my 7-year-old son, and you got 2 kids that are like around that age.
Mm-hmm.
Like my son loves the Dolphins, but like, and I sometimes wonder why. Like he's not seen anything good. Like he loves it because it's the local team, and I'm a Dolphin fan, and I'm and I know a lot of kids aren't like that. Like there are plenty of kids that like gravitate to the bandwagon, whatever the hot brand is. But I'm glad that there are still new Dolphin fans being born, despite the fact that like what if you're 7 years old? Like the peak of my son's Dolphin life was the Broncos win a couple of years ago where they put up 70. Like that was the highlight for him.
Yeah. So my dad is from New York. And he raised me to root for all the South Florida teams, which I love, and I obviously do the same with my son. But I get a lot of grief. The texters don't like this, Donno. I sugarcoat things a little too much in my household. We went to the Titans game, the game that started the Dolphins' downfall. Remember the Monday night Titans game where they were up big with like 2 minutes left, and we left. We were gone. And I took the Bright Line that night, so we're in the shuttle, to go back to the Bright Line, and I just hear a bunch of cursing from the front of the bus, and I'm with my son was like 7 or 8 at the time, and he's like, "What are they? What's going on?" Nothing. Game's over. Dolphins won. It's all good. And he thinks the Dolphins won that game.
Oh man! That's
I don't have the heart to tell him. I'm not going to tell him what happened with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
He loves Jimmy, but he loved Jimmy. Jimmy Butler was like his favorite because he really started to get into it during the pandemic, and they did the bubble, right? And Jimmy just was so good in the bubble, and so it became his favorite player. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that Jimmy quit on the team and pouted and raised this, made a whole fit to get out of here. I'm not going to tell him that. And then Terry Rozier came to his Heat camp over the summer. And I certainly don't have the heart to tell him when he asked me where Terry is. I'm not going to tell him he's on trial for point shaving.
How do you even explain that? Would be the other
I'm not
question.
Tell him that. So I sugarcoat it, man. He goes, why are the Dolphins losing? Is Tua not playing well? I see. Yeah,
Oh no, I sugarcoat as well because like I'm obviously like I've never been a huge Tua guy. Like I'm not a Tua hate. I'm just like I don't know. I'm just somewhere in the middle.
You're a hater. We gotta stop with that stuff. Like,
I know.
I don't think anyone personally dislikes Tua.
Right.
He's just
that's true.
Harmless.
That's true. But the thing is like my son loves Tua. He's the quarterback of the Dolphins, and like so I remember there was one of the games that we lost, and like. By the way, so my dad, grandpa is even a nonno, we call him. My father from Italy is like he's got no filter. Like, oh, Tua stinks, and he said something about that once, and my son was like, "What is he talking about? Tua's the best," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, okay." Like you have to sugarcoat. I don't want to break the 7-year-old's heart. You have to sugarcoat things every now and again.
Yeah. And we're going to get people are going to jump on this thing and just be, and they're going to tell us how weak we are and how soft. And I'm okay with that, to be quite honest with you. As long as he's living the fantasy that the Dolphins aren't the dumpster of the NFL and, everything's good. He asked me the other day, he goes, do the Canes still have a chance to win the ACC? He asked me, and I said, well, it's not looking good right now, but they're still alive for the playoff.
Yeah.
Technically, right? I mean, they think crazy.
They are. They're still alive. Yeah. No,
Donno, we talked about it earlier on in the show. There is a path to the playoff. It is not a nicely paved path, but it is a path nonetheless. Should a bunch of things need to happen. Just put it that way. But again, for the Hurricanes football team, you got to win your games first. Like that's first and foremost. And I think NC State this weekend, I think will be a tough test. I think Pitt in the last game will be a tough test, especially on the road there. So I do think Miami will have some tough games, and hopefully, look, you win those games, and if you can win them convincingly, because I do think, sadly enough, style points are going to count.
Yes,
down the stretch, right?
Yeah, they are absolutely going to count. That was one of the reasons why I was a little. I didn't have money on the game, but I was a little annoyed when Syracuse scored that. They scored that garbage time touchdown, which coincidentally covered the spread because they were 28.5-point dogs. But I'm thinking, man, like what if the committee it makes it look like a closer game than it really was when they score with 23 seconds left or whatever it was. And then, like this NC State game is going to be super interesting. For one thing, NC State comes off a bye week. So they've had an extra week to only think about Miami, where Miami had to spend a week prepping for Syracuse and then prepping for NC State. And the Wolfpack have a really, really good offense. Miami's defense has been one of the better units in the entire country. But they've got a star tight end, Justin Jolie, who's a really difficult matchup. A really good running back, Hollywood Smothers, and they got a couple good running backs in that unit. And then, of course, their quarterback is a South Florida kid, C.J. Bailey, went to Chaminade, played with JoJo Trader, played with Jeremiah Smith. And, C.J. wasn't recruited heavily by Miami because he was kind of a late bloomer, and he could have gone to a better program than NC State, but NC State was on him like first. So he was loyal to Dave Doran, who recruited him before a lot of other teams were. And CJ's been playing at a super high level. And he's going to have that extra motivation, being the South Florida kid. Probably felt like he didn't get recruited hard enough by Miami. He's going to want to come down here and make a point. And so, like, to me, the most important key to this game, Hollywood, for the Hurricanes is you cannot start the game slow offensively, as we've done, as we did last week. Like I don't think you can afford to punt on your first 4 drives and win this game, because I think NC State's offense is too good. Miami's defense is very good, but I think to a certain extent, Hurricanes offense is going to have to keep pace with them. So I don't want 4 punts to start the game. I want to go out there and execute and score some points early.
Donno, I'm going to issue this plea multiple times this week, by the way. If you are in the area, the Tri-County area in the state of Florida, come join us on Saturday at 3:30 and watch the Canes. Give them a little support there. It's
senior day.
It's been a long home season for these guys, which it has. This is it. This is the last home game. And please come out, support the team, support the program. They're putting a lot of effort into this thing, man, and I hope people will come out and show some love here for the finale at home before they go off into the cold, Donno, the cold of Blacksburg, Virginia, And that field in Pittsburgh that always seems like it's just completely chewed up. It seems like it's been that way since Bane, blew it up or whatever. But Dark Knight reference. You've seen it?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was at
Yeah.
whatever they
Not
call it now. It
Ruben
used to
Bain,
be
that was-
Heinz Field. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same place, right?
It's
What
the
is
same
it now?
place. Yeah, just
A Creasier Stadium?
something like
right?
that. Acrisure.
All right.
I don't know.
I don't know what they do. Maybe we'll Google it at some point this week before that game. We'll try to figure out what a Creasier does. What we're going to do is go take a quick pause here. We'll come back, wrap this thing up. We'll hand it off to Tobin and Leroy. They're coming up next on QAM.
Tell you about Atlanta.
Selling doesn't have The best price on.
Radio or
All right, welcome back in here as we wrap things up on this Tuesday morning. Get outside and catch some of this nice weather here. Donno, we got to do something nice here. It is Veterans Day. A happy Veterans Day, and again, thank you to everyone who has served or continues to serve our country. We certainly appreciate that very, very, very much here. And Donno, we're going to help some people out right now. We're going to give away some tickets here. And we have, let's see here, we got Heat and Knicks. Can't get much better than that at the Kaseya Center next Monday. We got a pair of tickets right now. Dan Day, you were the keeper of the tickets. What caller number would you like to go with? Dan's giving me a 5, so we'll go caller number 5, 305-567-0560. And you're going to Heat and Knicks, which that rivalry may be starting to get a little back here, Donno, as the Heat they're playing some good ball. Knicks, we know, are a feisty bunch, so hopefully that rivalry, that thing was fun growing up.
It was a lot of fun growing up, the old Miami Arena, and then even going to Kaseya Center, all the various names that it's had, because there's always going to be a good amount of Knicks fans who show up. It's inevitable. And then, the people get into it. Like, you start jawing at people. If the Heat win, you talk trash. The Knicks win, they talk trash to us when we're leaving the arena. And I'm bullish on this Heat team, Hollywood. I think that the really this young athletic team, I think, is perfect for Eric Spoelstra. I think that these are the types of teams he loves to coach, and he's getting the best out of these guys so far.
I'm with you. All right, Donno, well, you'll be back with us tomorrow, and we'll get into to some more of the college football stuff. We get the playoff poll today, so that ought to be.
We can talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see where the Canes come out in that thing. We got maybe a special guest, Canes related. Donno might join us later in the week here. I don't want to jump the gun here, but we might have that later in the week. So hang with us here if you're a Canes fan, and we'll hopefully get you some good news tomorrow morning when this playoff poll pops up, and see if the Canes got a little pathway there, Donno, to that playoff. So that's going to do it. I want to thank Omar Kelly, by the way, who was with us the first 2 hours of the show. If you missed that, you can go back. Jamie's posting the podcast, so go check that out. Omar is with us. Dan Day is the best, as always, man. Great working with you. Donno, was that a golf clap? Was that did he just?
I gave Dan a golf clap. Yeah,
he tap in for par. So thank you to Dan Day. For Donno, I'm Hollywood. Tobin and Leroy, they are coming up next here on QAM. Have a great day.
I want to tell you about Dr. Barry and his staff.